The lying old geezer stands in the Ebelstein slums. He claims to be a powerful mage, but only masters one-star magic. He's known for his terrible temper, often lashing out at even the smallest children who try to prank him. Our protagonist, Derek, learns magic from this eccentric old man. There isn't any grand, noble reason for this. The old man simply needs a follower, someone to pass his meager knowledge to. Derek simply needs knowledge. Derek trains, focusing intently on his mana. The old man watches, a look of surprise crossing his face. He's gaining a grasp over the flow of mana, something truly unexpected. Could this kid actually be special? Derek continues his intensive training. He pushes himself, channeling magic, the blue energy swirling around him. The old man observes, a bead of sweat forming on his brow. He's clearly astonished by Derek's rapid progress. Derek spends a whole year at the old man's side, running every kind of errand for him. During this time, Derek becomes a one-star mage himself. He hears stories of noble children achieving 3 stars easily. The old man constantly rants about bloodlines. He says commoners like them will always hit a wall at 2 stars. He insists that no matter how hard commoners struggle, their efforts are ultimately futile. Magic is all about bloodline. Derek believes these rants are a manifestation of the old man's own longing. He never achieved his dreams. That night feels unusually long for Derek. A heavy rain falls, echoing the somber mood in the air. The next day, Derek returns to their place. He finds the old man lying on the ground, lifeless. The old man is dead. His entire body is covered in bruises, looking like he suffered a brutal beating. Derek initially assumes the old man got into a fight somewhere and was simply beaten badly for it. Later, he learns the truth. Guards beat the old man. He was caught trying to steal a 2-star spellbook. No one understands why an old man with no ambition would do such a thing. It makes no sense. The old geezer always preached about bloodlines. Derek knows he can't possibly have noble blood. Suddenly, a mysterious system message appears before him. It confirms he's unlocked the basics of magic. He's prompted to choose his primary school of magic. He cannot change his decision once made. Derek understands why he doesn't have noble blood. He isn't originally from this world at all. 4 years pass, just like that. Derek grows older, his skills developing steadily in the background. Katya Flameheart enters his life. She's the former mistress of a now fallen by county house, a powerful 3-star mage. Many mercenary groups seek her out. While staying in Ebelstein, she takes contracts through the Belden Mercenary Corps. She teaches Derek, who joined the Corps young and only uses 1-star magic. He learns a great deal from her. Katya advises Derek that excessive greed will only slow his progress. He must keep that in mind. She tells him to close his eyes and feel his mana. He must calmly sense where it's generated. He then needs to understand what kind of flow his mana has. He concentrates, blue energy swirling around him. Katya instructs him to think of it as using mana to bring the image he's imagining into reality. She observes him intently. He definitely possesses a considerable amount of innate mana, more than she expected. His mana control is also incredibly stable. She notes this is likely due to his significant field experience. Suddenly, an explosive sound rocks the tavern. Derek reacts instantly, his eyes wide with surprise. "What's that sound?" he shouts. "What's going on?" Katya looks concerned, her gaze fixed on him. Jaden, the captain, orders a careful search. He's sure it was an explosion, demanding they check outside. Katya tells Derek not to say anything and just to follow her. He looks at her, confused. "Master?" he asks. She turns to him, her expression serious. She needs to explain something important. Katya tells Derek to listen carefully to what she's about to say. He nods, indicating he's ready. "Nobles are sensitive about their privileges," she explains. "Magic is the greatest privilege among all of them. People treat innate strength like a blessing, but that only applies to nobles. Commoners are different. Among commoners, someone very rarely reaches 3 stars. Those who do usually devote their entire lives to magic." She reveals that the delusion-type spell Derek just used is a 2-star spell called Auditory Hallucination. That's how, at age 14, Derek becomes a 2-star mage. A system message confirms his new status. After that, Katya travels with Derek. She passes down various spells and knowledge to him. Sometimes, she even teaches him about the high society she used to be part of when she was a noble. Another year passes like that. Then, Katya leaves him. She's appointed as a private tutor. She's going to the county of Elvista, a family so powerful even the capital's Grand Duke respects them. For Katya, this offer is impossible to refuse. Becoming a magic teacher for a noble of that level is an enormous blessing. Katya leaves after giving Derek a 2-star spellbook as a gift. He studies it, absorbing the new knowledge. His acquired magic list expands, including combat, transformation, delusion, summoning, and search spells. Another year later, Derek self-studies and masters 2 more 2-star spells. He's only 16 years old. He has no intention of stopping his magical progress now. He will continue to push his limits. Back at the Belden's Tier Tavern, Jaden is ecstatic. They finally received a proper request. It's a request from House Duplin, the Grand Duchy itself. Derek asks what kind of request it is. Jaden is thrilled. He exclaims that Duplain uses gold like people use water. The money will be great. He believes opening a path with Duplain through this job will build valuable connections for future work. They just need to subdue a few monsters on the outskirts of the Grand Duke's territory. That's it. Derek feels something is off. He thinks nobles wouldn't go back on their word, but it still feels suspicious. A family as big as Duplain asking a mere mercenary corps to clear out monsters. It doesn't add up. I'm not doing it, Derek declares. Get someone else. Jaden frantically calls out to him. He reminds Derek about the scarcity of mages among mercenary corps. Derek is the only one who can do it. Why do you need a mage just to kill a few monsters? Derek asks. He doesn't want to get tangled up. Jaden offers him an advance payment of 1 gold coin. Derek still refuses, finding the situation too shady. Suddenly, the clients arrive. Jaden urges Derek to pay his respects, introducing them. One of the clients, an old man with a monocle, dismisses Derek. He sees him as just a child. This isn't a task to entrust to some child, the old man declares. Jaden tries to defend Derek's skills. The old man insists, saying they should leave. Katya, the hooded woman, steps forward to intervene. She tells Derek, "Let's talk." He looks at her, a hint of suspicion in his eyes. They arrive at the Grand Duchy of Duplin's residence. Jaden is impressed by the grand estate. Derek quickly clears the goblins, finishing the job. He reports it to the dispatch officer, the old man. The dispatch officer then offers Derek a new, much larger request, promising 15 gold coins. Raig storms into the Grand Duke's office. He's furious, demanding his father, Valerian, look at this right now. His voice echoes with rage. Valerian looks up, his gaze sharp. He tells Raig to calm down and conduct himself with dignity. The tension in the room thickens. Raig yells back, "The one who needs to act with dignity isn't me, it's Diella." He's clearly at his breaking point. He points to a crying maid kneeling on the floor. Diella's actions have directly hurt people, and Raig is completely fed up. Raig rages on, listing how 10 servants quit last month alone. He screams about Diella smashing objects whenever she feels like it. Valerian listens, his pen pausing over the paper. He absorbs his son's angry outburst, the weight of the situation clearly heavy. Raig demands to know how long Valerian will keep turning a blind eye. He wants his father to finally take action. Aislinn, the older daughter, steps forward calmly. She tells Raig to lower his voice, reminding them Valerian is speaking. Raig looks at Aislinn, then Diella appears in his mind's eye. A vision of her smiling sweetly, completely innocent and serene. Raig suggests it's time to let Diella go. He believes this is the only solution left for their problematic sister now. Valerian removes his glasses, his eyes sharp and serious. He asserts that the decision about Diella is not Raig's to make. A powerful magical energy flares around Valerian, a clear warning. Raig recoils, startled by his father's sudden display of force. Valerian's voice is firm, echoing with authority. He reiterates that this decision is his alone, not Raig's to make. He simply says, "Raig." It's a command, not a question. A stark reminder of his position as Grand Duke. Raig is defeated, his face bruised and bloody from a previous altercation. He slumps, unable to argue further. Valerian's expression remains grim. He stares at Raig, his disappointment clear, but his resolve to protect Diella unwavering. Aislinn speaks again, suggesting Diella go to a monastery. She believes it's a good place for her, with good facilities. Aislinn mentions many noble children go there. She asks if Diella shouldn't devote herself to God's will instead. She continues, stating that if Diella staying brings great trouble to the family, then it's better to send her away. Valerian looks at Aislinn, his eyes unblinking. He doesn't respond directly, still processing the family drama unfolding before him. Aislinn says, "Father, even if Diella is a good-for-nothing, don't we still have me?" She highlights her own worth. Valerian's face tightens. He looks away, clearly bothered by the coldness of his children's suggestions regarding Diella. Aislinn then introduces Derek, the magic tutor she brought from Ebelstein. He stands beside her, a quiet and observant presence. Valerian looks at Derek, noticing his youthful appearance and the red glow in his eyes. He's intrigued by this new arrival. Derek stands respectfully, observing the Grand Duke. He understands the unspoken tension in the room and remains composed. Valerian asks Aisling about her well-being in Ebelstein. He wants to know how she has been doing away from home. Aisling smiles, assuring her father she has been living comfortably, thanks to his care. She appears poised and grateful. Valerian then acknowledges Derek's presence. He says he understands Reg is a bit hurt, suggesting they catch up later. Derek simply replies, "I understand." He remains stoic, his red eyes fixed on Valerian, ready for whatever comes next. Reg and Aisling leave the office. The maid, still distraught, follows them, leaving Derek alone with the Grand Duke. Valerian then tells Derek to stay behind. He wants to speak with the young man privately, assessing his true capabilities. Derek turns, his expression unreadable. He prepares himself for the Grand Duke's interrogation, knowing this is a test. Valerian holds a piece of paper, likely Derek's background check. He observes the young man, deep in thought. Valerian remarks that Derek is quite young. He then asks, 16, you said, challenging his perceived inexperience. Derek confirms, yes. He shows no fear or hesitation, maintaining a calm demeanor under the Grand Duke's scrutiny. Valerian then asks if Derek can handle magic to some extent. He's probing for the true extent of Derek's abilities. Derek replies he can use a bit of one-star magic. He downplays his skills, perhaps to avoid drawing too much attention. Valerian chuckles, a low, knowing sound. He sees through Derek's modesty, sensing a deeper power within the young man. Valerian states that humility doesn't always come off as a sign of virtue. He's testing Derek's honesty and self-perception. Derek looks at Valerian, his red eyes unwavering. He maintains his composure, not reacting to the Grand Duke's probing words. Valerian, now serious, says, I guess humility won't work on a 5-star mage. He sees through Derek's facade. Derek immediately apologizes if he came off as disrespectful. He quickly adjusts his approach, acknowledging Valerian's sharp perception. Valerian dismisses the apology. He says he knows why Derek carries himself that way, hinting at understanding his strength. He adds that being too talented can end up eating away at you. Valerian recognizes the burdens that come with great power. Valerian then questions Derek's suitability as a magic tutor, judging by his age and attire. He's still testing his character. Derek reveals he's a mercenary. This explains his practical demeanor and humble self-assessment despite his true power. Valerian nods, accepting the explanation. He decides not to pry any further, trusting Aisling's choice and Derek's honesty. He grants Derek entry to the annex where Diela lives. A maid will guide him, officially beginning his commission. Valerian then tells Derek he may go now. The Grand Duke has made his decision, placing faith in the young mercenary. Derek asks if he may ask one thing. He has a crucial request before fully accepting this challenging task. Valerian grants him permission. He waits, curious about what the young, powerful mercenary could possibly want to ask. Derek explains his duty as a mercenary. Once commissioned, he sees it through. He is serious about his work. He states that Lady Diela may learn magic and enter high society as a proper noble. This is his ultimate goal. Derek then reveals Aisling commissioned him for this purpose. He's laying out the terms and expectations clearly. Valerian asks, why are you spelling out the obvious? He finds Derek's detailed explanation unnecessary given their prior discussion. Derek's red eyes meet Valerian's. He has a reason for this preamble, a specific request he needs to make. He explains, because I have an earnest request to make of you, Your Grace. The true purpose of his speech is revealed. Derek then enters Diela's annex, guided by a maid. The atmosphere shifts, moving from formal to potentially volatile. He approaches Diela, who is sitting with her back to him. She is completely unaware of the new tutor's arrival. Derek introduces himself politely. My name is Derek. Please excuse me for a moment. He keeps his tone respectful. Diela, without turning, orders him to come closer. Her voice carries an imperious, demanding tone, showing her true nature. Derek steps closer, his red eyes focused. He maintains his composed demeanor, ready for whatever Diela might throw at him. Diela turns, a wicked smile on her face. She immediately insults him, calling him a sewer rat and deeming his presence horrible. She questions if he's the mercenary the Grand Steward mentioned. She then reconsiders, deciding he truly looks like a sewer rat. Diela picks up a bucket of dirty water. She grins maliciously, ready to douse Derek, asserting her dominance. She pours the water over Derek's head. It's a humiliating act, meant to put him in his place and break his spirit. Derek is drenched, water dripping from his hair and clothes. He stands motionless, enduring the abuse without a word. Diela laughs, claiming being drenched in gutter water suits him better. She revels in his humiliation, feeling powerful. She then feigns disappointment, saying she ran out of water. Diela finds his lack of reaction boring, wanting more. Derek slowly lifts his head, his red eyes meeting Diela's. This sudden gaze catches her off guard. Diela is startled, blurting out, "Huh?" She didn't expect him to meet her gaze, let alone show such defiance. She then screams, "How dare you look at me?" Diela kicks him, trying to force him back into submission. Derek endures the kick, still standing. He remains utterly unmoving, his red eyes burning with an unyielding resolve. Diela stares, shocked by his resilience. She insults him again. "You stink," trying to regain control with another jab. Derek steps on Diela's foot. It's a swift, unexpected move, and she lets out a cry of pain and surprise. Diela collapses to the floor, stunned and humiliated. She clutches her foot, completely bewildered by Derek's sudden, direct retaliation. Her eyes are wide with shock, tears welling up. No one has ever dared to treat her this way, especially a sewer rat. Derek stands over her, his red eyes glowing, his face grim. He simply commands, "Get up." This was only the beginning. He's supposed to be her teacher, a guide to a better path. But that smile, that look in his eyes, something is very, very wrong here. 3 years ago, our story begins. A massive, futuristic machine sits nestled in a forest. It's an unusual sight, but not as unusual as our next scene. Our main character, a young man with striking white hair and red eyes, sits with his teacher. She poses a challenging question to him. "If you had to teach a stubborn student who didn't appreciate kindness, what would you do?" she asks, a thoughtful look on her face. He considers it for a moment, then replies with a surprisingly gentle answer. "I'd try to understand them, embrace them, and take them in." His teacher raises an eyebrow, clearly unconvinced by his idealist approach. "Isn't that too idealistic?" she challenges, peering at him intently. He presses her further. "What about a student you can't even do that with? He wants a practical solution, something beyond pure goodwill." His teacher then shares her core philosophy. "The essence of teaching is to lead a student in a better direction," she explains, simple and clear. She continues, revealing the darker side of her methods. If you can't communicate through understanding and acceptance, then you'll have to find a different starting point." He looks intrigued. "A different starting point? What is that?" he asks, eager to learn. He has no idea what's coming next. Her eyes narrow, a chilling shift in her demeanor. The air around her seems to darken as she prepares to deliver her true answer. And then she says it. Her voice drops, cold and precise, by carving fear into them. The words hang heavy in the air. Fast forward to now. We see Diela, a blonde young lady looking completely shocked. She's on the ground and our white-haired MC stands over her. He's giving her a lecture, his voice calm but firm. "Treat others with consideration and respect," he instructs. Diela just stares, confused. He emphasizes his point, his tone leaving no room for argument. "Don't make me say things twice," he warns, his red eyes fixed on her. He then grabs her arm and pulls her roughly to her feet. Diela is clearly not happy, but she can't resist his strength. Without a moment's hesitation, he slaps her across the face. The sound echoes. Diela reels back, her mind trying to process what just happened. She screams, her voice filled with outrage and disbelief. "How dare the likes of you?" She can't believe a commoner would hit her. She tries to fight back, fueled by anger and her noble pride. "You dare lay a hand on," but she's cut off mid-sentence. He slaps her again, a sharp, resounding blow. He's not messing around. This guy means business, no matter her status. "I won't make you say things twice either," he states, his voice colder than ice. Diela's face shows pure shock and fear now. He repeats his earlier lesson, the one about respect. When you deal with others, you will do so with consideration and respect. He's serious. Diela can only manage a week. Her world is crumbling. This commoner is treating her like dirt and she has no power. Suddenly, the Grand Steward bursts in, clearly alarmed by the commotion. "Grand Steward, what are you doing?" he shouts, rushing towards them. He points a furious finger at our MC. This Laoborn dared to put his hands on a young lady. He's ready to defend Diela's honor. The steward checks on Diela, concern etched on his face. He then turns his anger back to the MC, demanding answers, threatening consequences. "What do you think you're doing right now?" he yells. "How dare you lay a hand on the young lady?" if the Grand Duke finds out. But our MC just calmly pulls out a document, a paper with a seal. He holds it up, displaying his authority without a word. His Grace has granted me full authority over all of Miss Diala's education, he reveals. The steward's threats immediately fall flat. He continues, confirming his absolute power in this situation. Istrace has permitted me to employ whatever method I choose. Total control. The steward is utterly speechless. This, he stammers, his face pale. Diala looks on, completely bewildered by this turn of events. Later that night, the grand house stands silent. But inside, another storm is brewing. Diala's brother, Valerian, is about to make an entrance. Valerian, a man with long blonde hair, bursts into the room, furious. Someone tries to hold him back, pleading for him to calm down. Valerian, please calm down, they shout. But Valerian is seeing red. He storms towards our MC, ready for a fight. He confronts the MC, his voice laced with venom. So you're the mercenary. He grabs a sword, his intention clear. He's going to attack. Valerian lunges at the MC, sword drawn. But in the chaos, Diala gets caught in the crossfire, accidentally hit by her own brother. Hicho, dare you hit Diala? Valerian roars, now even angrier. Someone else tries to intervene, begging him to put the sword down and talk. The MC calmly informs Valerian, it's something his grace permitted. Valerian's rage is momentarily checked by the Duke's authority. Another man, Raig, tries to reason with Valerian. Valerian, he's a ghost Aselian brought. He also warns about Iseline's position. Valerian's father apparently allowed this too. Valerian then takes the MC away, telling Raig not to interfere and to mind his own business. As they leave, Raig mutters, I heard about what happened. Diala does need a beating before she comes to her senses. He seems to agree. Raig then assures someone, don't worry, Valerian won't go too far. But Valerian is still dragging the MC, his anger not fully gone. Another servant comments, GZ, I don't know why he's protecting that hopeless one. They don't understand Valerian's deep concern for Diala. Valerian leads the MC into a quiet room. Komini, he says, his tone softening slightly. This room holds Diala's past. It's Diala's old room, filled with her drawings. This is the room Diala used when she stayed in the main house, Valerian explains, a hint of sadness. It's been left like this ever since, he adds. The room is a time capsule of a happier Diala, before her obsession took hold. Valerian looks at the colorful paintings. Diala used to love drawing, he remembers. His voice is soft, filled with nostalgia for his sister. He recalls her adorable shyness. Every time she asked me to look at her drawings, her face would turn red. She was so adorable. But then his expression saddens. But she never finished a drawing. He points out a recurring pattern in her unfinished works. Most of the time, she'd leave a blank space and only draw the parts she liked, he explains. A metaphor for her selective vision, perhaps. Valerian then apologizes for his earlier outburst. About a year. I'm sorry I got emotional. I apologize for that. He shows a vulnerable side. The MC surprisingly accepts his apology. Don't worry about it, he says, his demeanor calm. He seems to understand Valerian's pain. But then the MC asks, but why did you bring me to this room? He wants to know the true reason for this emotional detour. Valerian gestures to the room, to all the unfinished art. I wanted to show you, he says, his voice earnest, wanting MC to see Diala's true self. That Diala wasn't a child who deserved to be despised or beaten, he pleads. He wants MC to see the good in her. He explains how Diala changed, but at some point, she started obsessing excessively over bloodline. That obsession ruined her. And in the end, she was driven out of the main house and locked away in the annex. Valerian laments. He doesn't know why. I can't even guess what turned her into that, he confesses, showing his desperation. He fears for her future, her exile to a monastery. We have to stop her from being sent to the monastery, he urges. He holds up some magic theory books, a desperate plan. If she learns even one star magic, I'll be able to persuade Feather somehow, he begs. His last hope rests on MC. I'm begging you, please save Diala, Valerian pleads, looking utterly desperate. The MC looks at the books, then at Valerian. Wait, the MC says, his eye scanning the notes in the margins of the books. She didn't completely give up on magic, judging by all the notes. He also notices the theory books from the School of Regulations. And those books over there are all theory books from the School of Regulations, right? Valerian confirms, yeah, that's right, because nobles learn from the School of Regulations. The MC has a plan, or at least an idea. He hands the book back to Valerian. I'll give it a try, he states, a glint in his eye. But his idea of trying is unconventional. That night, Diela is sleeping soundly, but the MC stands over her bed, a bucket of water in his hands. He's about to wake her up. He pours the icy water, and Diela screams, drenched and shocked awake. What? What? Oh, you? Or are you out of your mind? She shrieks, terrified. He just smiles, a chilling, triumphant grin. I guess I missed, he says, as Diela scrambles away. This twisted lesson is only just beginning. Diela pushes through the dark forest, her breath ragged. She's running for her life, something fast and unseen striking her. She stumbles and falls to the ground, panting, eyes wide with fear. The blows keep coming, relentless and sharp. Diela screams, pain searing through her body. She clutches her arm, desperate, as the attacks continue to land. She hits the ground again, her body aching. The exhaustion is overwhelming, but she forces herself to keep moving. Another powerful blow sends her flying. She crashes down, her strength draining away with every impact. She cries out, utterly spent. Her vision blurs, but a flicker of resolve ignites in her eyes. She won't give up. Diela struggles to her feet, her body screaming in protest. She stares down the unseen attacker, defiance etched on her face. She tries to conjure something, a desperate attempt. A faint blue energy appears around her hand, a spark of hope. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the shadows. It's a young man, Derek, and he's deflecting Diela's nascent magic with ease. He moves with incredible speed, intercepting her attacks before they can fully form. Diela is stunned by his agility. Derek dodges her next attempt, a whirlwind of blue energy following his every move. He's testing her, pushing her limits. Diela collapses, defeated and frustrated. She can't believe he's so fast, completely out of her league. Huh, she groans, struggling to breathe. Her body is bruised and her spirit is weary from the chase. Derek stops, observing her. He notes her surprising speed, especially for someone who's been confined all day. Diela tries to run again, but it's no use. He's always there, blocking her path, cutting off her escape. She thinks, how long do I have to keep running? Can I even get away? Despair starts to creep in. She knows that at this rate, he'll definitely catch her. The forest suddenly seems to close in around her. Derek recognizes the forest from Diela's paintings. He believes she must have spent her childhood running around here. He realizes she unconsciously felt mana in the vast wild and transferred that feeling onto her canvas. It's a revelation. Diela is hit again, falling hard. She screams, completely overwhelmed by the relentless assault and her own powerlessness. She's crying now, her face streaked with dirt and tears. The fight is almost gone from her, replaced by raw emotion. Derek approaches, his expression unreadable. He compliments her spirit, admitting it's admirable to strike back. He acknowledges that it couldn't have been an easy decision to fight instead of flee, knowing the odds. Diela is on her hands and knees, gasping. She's utterly spent, without the strength left to even run anymore. Derek stands over her, his sword drawn. He asks her if she has any last words, a somber question. Diela looks up, defiant despite her weakness. She tells him she won't grovel and demands he just kill her. Derek steps back, lowering his sword slightly. He asks why she's so obsessed with her bloodline, a probing question. Diela cries out, "Then what would I have left?" Her voice cracks with desperation, her eyes filled with tears. She screams, "Magic, magic, magic!" It's a desperate plea, a raw expression of her deepest desire and frustration. She sobs, asking, "Do you think I never tried?" Her voice is filled with anguish, her face contorted in pain. She laments that no matter how hard she tries, magic still doesn't work for her. It's a lifelong struggle. She feels like she'll be weeded out of everything, painting or magic. She questions what she has left besides her bloodline. If even that is gone, then what is she? She stares at the ground, lost and utterly broken. Derek listens, his expression softening slightly. He raises his sword, preparing to deliver the final blow. He says, "I've heard enough," his voice firm. Diela closes her eyes, bracing for the inevitable end. Just as he swings, Diela's dormant power awakens. Blue ice shards erupt from the ground, blocking Derek's attack. She stares at the ice, stunned. Magic," she whispers, unable to believe what just happened. Derek is also surprised, stepping back as the ice spikes continue to rise. He recognizes something unique in her power. He congratulates her. "Good work, Lady Diela." He seems genuinely impressed by her sudden manifestation of mana. He apologizes for his rudeness, acknowledging her strength. Diela looks up, tears still streaming down her face. Derek explains it's not true magic, but a manifestation of mana. He adds, But you still did it. Diela is overwhelmed, gasping and crying out. The emotion of finally achieving something she longed for is immense. She's encased in a cocoon of ice, still screaming, as her raw power surges uncontrollably around her. Derek watches, his eyes sharp. He recognizes her unique style, explaining that she's from the School of the Wild. Diela is confused, asking, "School of the Wild?" She has no idea what he's talking about. Derek explains that most nobles learn the School of Regulations, a different approach to magic. He elaborates that while all magic is similar, the process of understanding and mastering it differs greatly by school. He tells her that trying to learn magic through the School of Regulations was bound to cause problems for her. She wasn't just trying to wear clothes that didn't fit. She was forcing herself into something completely alien to her. Diela asks how he knew she was from the School of the Wild. She's surprised by his insight. Derek reveals he saw it in the drawing she made. He explains how he deduced her unique connection. He says she could feel mana drifting through nature and then put that feeling onto her canvas. It was her signature. Mages born with the temperament of the School of the Wild usually sense mana in nature when they're young. He tells her it's enough for now, and she should be able to walk. He's bandaging her arm gently. Diela is surprised by his kindness. She stands, feeling a new strength in her legs. Derek tells her she succeeded in manifesting mana, but she still has a long way to go. He promises that starting tomorrow, he'll teach her how to manifest mana naturally. Diela looks at him, surprised. She thanks him, calling him by name, Derek. It's a moment of genuine gratitude between them. He simply nods. They start walking back together, the moon high above them, casting long shadows. Derek then asks about her sunset painting, wondering if it was her work. Diela is taken aback by the question. She says she doesn't know, admitting it's been a long time since she put down a brush. He tells her it was beautifully done, a true masterpiece. Diela looks at him, surprised by his praise. She softly reveals it was her masterpiece, and he's the first person who ever realized it was finished. The next morning, Diela wakes up in her room, determined. She tries to conjure magic again, focusing intently. A small wisp of blue energy appears in her hand, but it's faint and unstable. She's struggling to control it. "This is hard," she mutters, frustrated by her lack of progress. She really wants to master this power. A maid enters her room carrying a bucket of water. She doesn't notice Diela standing in the doorway. The maid bumps into Diela, spilling water everywhere. She gasps, terrified of Diela's expected reaction. Lady Diela. I'm sorry," the maid stammers, bowing low, expecting a harsh punishment. Diela simply tells her to watch where she's going. Her voice is calm, devoid of her usual temper. The maid looks up, shocked. "What's happening? Why isn't she hitting me?" She's utterly bewildered. She realizes Diela is just leaving, without doing anything else. It's a complete change from her reputation. Diela finds Derek resting. Her father is stunned, asking if she truly manifested mana. He scolds her rudeness. Diela demands Derek teach her now. He tells her to come back later, but she refuses. She yells, "You crazy bastard," banging on his door. The real storm hasn't hit yet, and nobody is ready. Servants gossip in hushed tones, sweeping the grand halls. They whisper about Lady Diela, how she manifested magic. They say she didn't break a single plate. Another servant adds she splashed water this morning and didn't get hit for it. It's unbelievable. They're saying Lady Diela manifested magic, and the news travels fast through the estate. Derek walks by. His expression darkens. He overhears their chatter, catching the words about Diela's magic. His mind races. He can't believe what he's hearing. He needs to confirm this immediately. Derek stands before his father, the Duke, in the grand office. He reports Diela has manifested magic. The Duke, a stern man with glasses, listens intently. He looks relieved by the news, a weight lifting from his shoulders. Derek's brother, Reg, is also there. He dismisses the news, still pushing to send Diela to the convent. Reg believes this small act isn't enough to change her fate. The Duke reminds Reg of Diela's past actions. The Duke insists Diela's entire history must be considered. He watches Reg closely, his gaze firm. Reg still argues, his face tight with frustration. He thinks a tiny bit of magic isn't enough to save her. The scene shifts to Diela and Derek. She's sitting, looking upset. He asks if she's sulking. Diela quickly corrects him. She's not sulking, she is genuinely angry about her situation. Derek tries to reason with her. He says acting spiteful won't change anything no matter how much she pouts. He tells her there's an order to everything, a set way things must be done. Diela just glares at him. She yells back, insisting again that she's angry, not pouting. Her frustration boils over into a fierce outburst. Her face is red, eyes wide with fury. She clenches her fists, screaming her anger at him. Derek stares at her, a hint of surprise in his eyes. He pauses, considering her intense reaction. He finally gives in, sighing. "Fine," he says. "Let's say I'm pouting." Diella looks up, confused by his sudden agreement. Derek begins to explain. Just because she manifested magic doesn't mean she can use it carelessly. It could backfire badly. He speaks from experience, having been through it himself. He tells her rest is important, but now she needs to study. Diella groans. She calls him a stuffy magic teacher with a sarcastic tone. She clearly doesn't want to study with him. Derek's red eyes glow with intensity. He smiles, a dangerous edge to his expression. "Then shall I teach you in a way that's not stuffy?" Blue energy crackles around his hands as he prepares to demonstrate. Diella watches, a mix of fear and awe on her face. He unleashes a burst of power, the room lighting up. He shows her what he means by not stuffy. Diella is stunned by the display, leaning back in her chair. His power is beyond anything she expected. Derek holds a ball of glowing blue magic. He's teaching her magic manifestation, right there, right now. He explains that the school of the wild has no rigid system. It's ideal for self-study and pursues freedom. Diella listens, arms crossed. She seems to be taking it seriously now, captivated by his teaching. Derek tells her she actually suits the school of the wild quite well. Her free-spirited nature aligns perfectly. He continues, adding that with her Duplain blood, she's overflowing with talent. Diella's eyes widen at the praise. She's surprised. "You're saying I'm talented?" She can't quite believe what he's telling her. Derek confirms it. If she can conjure an ice wall the instant she manifests, she is certainly overflowing with talent. Diella's face lights up with a blush. "Then what? I'm some kind of genius?" Her excitement is palpable. Derek corrects her. Having talent and being a genius are clearly different things. He clarifies the distinction for her. She argues back, insisting they are the same thing. She's too excited to hear him out. He maintains they are different. She gives in, calling him amazing. The lesson continues. Days pass quickly. Diella calls Derek constantly, showing him her progress. She can manifest magic now. But she complains about not getting the direction right. She's eager for his feedback, constantly seeking his attention. Derek is seen reading, focused on his own studies. Diella runs to him, frustrated by her lack of control. She's trying to imbue cold, but something feels off. She needs his help to figure it out. The next day, it's the same. She can feel the magic, but the sensation is weird. She's still struggling. Derek is outside, reading under a tree. Diella finds him and demands to know what he's doing there. She told him to stay near the annex. She's annoyed he's not where he should be. She asks if he thinks their father lent him those spell books so he could slack off. Her voice is sharp. Derek calmly replies, "Yes." He says his father lent them for that purpose, for his own study. Diella is furious. She succeeded at letting the magic flow, just like he said. She wants him to check it now. She grabs his hand, pulling him away from his book. She's demanding his attention. Her progress is too important. Derek enters a room where Reg is waiting. Reg immediately asks about Diella's progress lately. Derek reports she's made quite a bit of progress in magic manifestation. Reg listens intently, but he adds that learning one-star magic will likely take a bit more time. It's not an instant process. Reg nods, absorbing the information. He then mentions their mother, who went to a social gathering, will return next week. He warns Derek not to take Diella lightly. She's not someone you can underestimate despite her youth. Reg explains that the people in the estates are fine, but nobles don't like commoners holding key positions. Derek already knows this. Reg continues, asserting his position as the next head of House Duplain. This means he must embrace and include all members of their house. He must be sincere with everyone. Derek finds this really difficult. A person's heart can be so deep and profound, hard to truly understand. It would be nice if everyone's thoughts and values were the same, but that isn't reality. It's a complex world. Reg cuts to the chase. He reveals his true motive. Diella won't play with him. He wants her to like him. He remembers Diella welcoming him with a smile when they were little. He thought she was an angel. Reg asks Derek if there's a way to win Diella's favor. He believes Derek is the only one she truly follows around. Diella calls for Derek again, asking where he went. She's holding a small handmade doll. Derek, looking serious, shows Reg the doll. He learned how to make them from the maids. He asks Reg what he thinks. Reg is horrified, thinking it looks like a cursed doll. He calls Derek completely useless. Later, a woman named Miriella Dable Duplain meets the Duke. She's shocked when Derek introduces himself as a commoner, not affiliated with any house. This changes everything. Mirella Debold-Duplain greets Derek, noting she's heard he's a highly capable magic teacher. She introduces herself and offers a gift from her territory. Derek's response is blunt. He states he isn't affiliated with any noble house. Mirella's expression immediately shifts to profound shock. He calmly reiterates his status. I'm a commoner. Mirella can barely process it, repeating his words in disbelief. The scene then shifts abruptly, flashing back 1 week earlier. Derek arrives at the grand residence with the young girl, Diella. Aislinn, Diella's older sister, entrusts her to Valerian, citing her duties in Ebelstein. Valerian assures her he understands the responsibility. Aislinn then turns to Derek, scolding him for his lifeless agreement. She reminds him of her trust in his care for Diella. She instructs Valerian to conclude his matters swiftly, warning that Pauline will cause a significant fuss otherwise. Valerian confirms his reliance on Derek. Derek departs in a carriage, leaving the residence. Valerian suddenly realizes he has forgotten something crucial. He confesses to Aislinn that he completely overlooked giving Derek a heads up about his mother's impending return. Aislinn questions the necessity of such a warning. Valerian explains his mother is a little difficult to manage. He further elaborates on her temperament, describing her as nothing short of a god of anger. The tension builds. Suddenly, his mother, Mirella, bursts into the room, her fury palpable. She demands to know why a commoner teaches Diella. She shouts, demanding an explanation for the situation. Valerian attempts to calm her, urging her to lower her voice. Mirella dismisses his plea, her focus entirely on Diella, our beloved youngest daughter. Her anger remains unchecked. She loudly expresses her strong aversion to appointing commoners to such esteemed positions within their noble household. Valerian counters, explaining that every teacher with a good bloodline had already thrown up their hands and given up on Diella. Mirella remains furious, questioning how he could possibly hire a man who once rolled around in the mercenary world. Valerian argues that finding a decent magic teacher is far from an easy task. Aislinn herself recommended Derek. Mirella dismisses his reasoning. She insists there must always be a certain standard maintained for such roles. She then suggests her younger brother, Flam, for the role. She says he was busy before, but things are different. Diella has now manifested magic, making Flam's instruction even more suitable. His teaching would be beneficial. Valerian is aghast. He questions if she seriously intends to pull Flam from managing their territory for this. He asks if she truly believes Ebelstein can be run haphazardly, while Flam serves as a private tutor. Mirella retorts sharply, stating that, socially, a teacher's standing matters more than anything else. She demands to know about the commoner with no family name. Diella would become a laughingstock in high society. Valerian tries to intervene, urging his mother to calm down. He reminds her she didn't come to fight. Mirella ignores him, declaring this is not an issue they can simply let slide. The stakes are too high. She asserts the core question is whether this commoner mage genuinely possesses the qualities required to be Diella's teacher. She then turns her gaze to her other son, Reg, clearly seeking his agreement and support. Reg confirms his mother's sentiment, agreeing that it isn't a normal situation for a commoner to teach a noble. He adds that if the commoner truly possesses the necessary qualities, then it won't present a major problem. Reg then proposes a solution. He will personally test Derek's qualities himself to confirm his abilities. Valerian begins to protest, suggesting a magic spar with Derek. But the Grand Duke cuts him off. The Grand Duke, their father, states firmly, enough. He declares Derek is the real deal as a mage. Reg is visibly surprised by his father's unwavering confidence and strong declaration about Derek's power. Reg pauses, then shifts his strategy. He proposes testing Diella instead, focusing on her progress. Valerian is shocked, asking what Reg is thinking. He calls the idea of a magic spar with Diella absurd. He questions if Reg genuinely believes Diella has turned over a new leaf, asking if he's forgotten her past. Valerian reminds Reg that Diella is his only sister, his own blood. They must hold her close and protect her. Reg scoffs. Ha, blood? He claims Diella's very existence and actions are attempting to bring their house down. He insists everything she's done so far was already bad enough. Her past is unforgivable. He warns that if she debuts in high society in her current state, it will truly be the end of them. Valerian asks, with a pained expression, if that is truly how Reg feels about his sister. Reg coldly states that Diella was the very first one to cross an unforgivable line. He believes the best thing for Diella now is to be kept completely shut away in the annex. The flashback ends, returning to the present. Derek is seen calmly studying a magic book. Suddenly, Diella bursts into his room, calling out his name with urgency. She demands his attention. Derek looks up, asking what she wants so early in the morning. Her demeanor is resolute. Diella stands defiantly, delivering a stark ultimatum. If he loses this magic spar, he's fired. Derek calmly acknowledges her words. Yes, I heard. He doesn't show any reaction. He notes that young Master Reg is already a seasoned one-star mage, making victory difficult for Derek. Diella is furious, demanding if that's all he has to say. She screams that he's going to get fired. Derek simply replies, "I'm a mercenary." His tone remains detached and professional. He explains his philosophy. He does the job he's hired to do and takes the pay that comes with it. He adds that he has already been paid more than enough for his services, implying indifference to being fired. Diella looks devastated, her eyes wide with hurt and disbelief. She asks if he really means that. The scene shifts again, 1 week later. The Grand Duke and other nobles gather for the spar. The Grand Duke observes Derek's arrival, noting his complete lack of nervousness in the situation. He wonders if Derek is truly confident, acknowledging the immense nerve he possesses in this moment. He muses that Derek isn't someone they should cut loose just yet, recognizing his unique composure. Reg makes a dramatic entrance, the air around him crackling with intensity. This won't be a simple spar. He thinks to himself that today, he plans to completely break Diella, ending her aspirations once and for all. Diella makes her entrance, wearing a striking red-hooded cloak. The stage is set for the confrontation. Reg confronts her, promising to make her regret her past actions down to her very bones. Diella turns to Derek, her voice filled with pain. She asks if he truly meant his mercenary words. Derek, ignoring her question, states her magic growth is on track. She's making real progress. He tells her she can't use one-star magic right away, but it won't take long. Her Duplain blood helps. Diella, confused and hurt by his sudden change of tone, asks why he's saying that now. Derek reminds her of the School of the Wild, which emphasizes self-study over direct instruction. Diella is distraught, screaming, "So?" She asks why he's saying such things at this crucial moment. Derek remains silent, offering no immediate explanation. Diella calls his name, her voice trembling. She admits she isn't a great student, but pleads with him to let her continue learning. She wants only him. Derek still says nothing. He puts on his gloves, a silent gesture of readiness for the coming fight. He warns her he knows nothing of noble spar etiquette, having never done one, but he can teach her to win. He asks her directly, "Do you want to win?" Diella, tears in her eyes, but resolve hardening, replies, "Yeah, make me win." She stands ready, not as a Duplain noble, but solely as Derek's student and a mage. The air crackles with magic. 2 mages stand ready for battle. General Pelham, the arbiter, steps forward to begin the spar. He explains the strict rules for high-rank mages of the Ebelstein-Kelbrum Salon. The contest is about to unfold. Whichever side triggers General Pelham's protective magic circle first will be declared the loser. Tension fills the arena. This special accessory activates automatically right before the wearer takes major damage. It nullifies the opponent's spell. Reg, one of the fighters, watches with a smirk. "So this is how nobles fight," he mutters to himself. "They use expensive accessories just to spar. It must be nice to be so rich, basically throwing money away." He plans to finish this fight quickly. His strategy is set to conclude the spar within 10 minutes. Diella, his opponent, stands ready. She handles one-star magic with ease, showing impressive control over her powers. But Reg sees her as a complete beginner when it comes to actual combat. He watches her every move. She's forcing the trajectory to make her spells hit, burning through a lot of mana. He calls it a simple trick. Suddenly, Diella strikes first. A wave of green magic erupts from her hands, sweeping across the platform. Reg meets the attack head-on. He unleashes his own magic, a powerful counter-spell that shatters her initial assault. He closes in, launching another burst of energy. Diella dodges, moving with surprising speed, but he presses his advantage. Reg's magic swirls around him, building power. He thinks about Diella's inexperience, confident in his victory. "Sorry," he thinks, focusing his intent, "but I need you to return to the annex." He prepares for a final blow. A massive wave of magic explodes from him, a devastating attack aimed directly at Diella. He expects her to fall. Diela barely reacts, her eyes wide as the spell engulfs her. Rag believes the fight is over for her. He remembers a lesson. Mercenaries fight differently from nobles. They don't treat fair and square as a virtue. Their only focus is pure victory. It's far from a typical duel between nobles, a refined display of skill. Even if you win unconventionally, you might get criticized for it. But you can still force an ending where you win. He looks at Diela. Are you really fine with that? He challenges her silently. Her determined expression answers him. Of course, she screams, her resolve unwavering in the face of his power. Among mercenaries, some always win, even against stronger opponents. Those people don't duel for honor. They fight, and by fighting, they control the battlefield, making use of terrain and surroundings. They literally use any and all available methods to seize victory. They exploit every single weakness. They even take advantage of the very short period their opponent lets their guard down. It's brutal. Ray continues his assault, launching a powerful ice blast. He expects Diela to be overwhelmed by his raw force, but Diela is gone. She is not where he expects her to be. His attack hits nothing but the platform. She reappears, moving with incredible agility, surprising him. Her movements are erratic, hard to predict. Another attack from Rag slams into the ground where Diela stood moments before. She avoids it again. He unleashes more ice magic, a wide area attack. Diela blocks it with a small focus barrier. Rag is furious. How dare she, he yells, frustrated by her defensive tactics and unconventional movements. He continues his barrage. She handles one-star magic with ease, but he still sees her as a beginner. She keeps forcing her magic, burning through mana. He believes she cannot sustain this defense for long. Raid channels more power, shattering her small ice shield. He's determined to break through her defenses. She's not even using star-ranked magic, he thinks, scoffing at her methods. It's merely manifestation of power. Does she think she can block his magic with such a trick? He prepares to unleash his full might. Since it's nothing but a trick, I'll break through with firepower, he declares, gathering more energy. He unleashes a massive, concentrated blast of ice. Try blocking this too, Diela, he roars in defiance. The attack hits. A powerful explosion of ice. Rag believes he has finally defeated her, the spar concluded. Dylan, watching from the sidelines, cries out in alarm. Diela, he shouts, rushing forward in concern. What are you doing? Stop the spar now, he demands. Diela is hurt, he fears the worst. General Pelham remains calm. Sit down, he instructs Delon. It's not over yet. His words are chilling. What? Delon is shocked. You saw it yourself. Diela was clearly hit by his attack. General Pelham shakes his head. Wrong. General Pelham's magic circle didn't activate. Diela is still in the fight. Rag is stunned. He didn't even blink. He thought he had won. How could she have survived that? He had already expected her to grow this much. But this defies his understanding of her abilities. She definitely should have been struck by that. So why didn't the magic circle activate? He searches for answers. He looks down. Diela is below the platform, having dropped out of sight. A new plan unfolds. She's attacking from below the platform. The rules of the Kelbrum Salon didn't account for this maneuver. But, by the Kelbrum Salon's rules, leaving the platform should count as a loss. Ray protests, enraged. General Pelham's rules likely never considered such a petty trick. Nobles typically fight with honor and formality. They never thought someone would use the space below the platform. Rag is frustrated by the loophole. He unleashes a barrage of ice directly downwards. He can't see her, making it difficult to land an attack. On the other hand, all she needs to do is land one blow on him. The tables have turned. This is a spar with no trace of noble etiquette at all. Rag fumes, recognizing her mercenary tactics. Diela, now below, launches her own magic upwards. A powerful green wave erupts from beneath the platform. Rag tries to block, but the attack is unexpected, coming from an unconventional angle. He's caught off guard. He curses, realizing he's been outmaneuvered. Her strategy is proving to be far more effective than he anticipated. Diela's eyes are calm, focused. He knew he'd seen that look somewhere before. It's unnervingly familiar. That unusually calm look she has is the same look Derek had. His older brother once grabbed Derek by the collar. Ray connects the dots. Diela couldn't have come up with this alone. This must be a planned strategy. Derek, you scum. Was this your plan? Rag screams, realizing he's been played by his cunning rival. Despite his anger, Rag smirks. Fine, I'll play along with this scheme of yours, he says. He prepares for Diela's next move, now fully aware of the unconventional nature of this spar. The fight changes. The cunning strategy has revealed Diela's hidden depth, orchestrated by a shadowy figure. Reg now faces a true challenge. This was only the beginning. The real storm hasn't hit yet. The battle for victory intensifies dramatically. Reg is deep in a magic duel. Suddenly, Diela, the young girl, falls through the battle platform. Spectators gasp in shock. Her mother screams, fear gripping her voice. Diela is down there, lost in the dust bowl. It's a terrible sight. She yells, demanding to know what Reg is doing. She insists he stop the fight right now. Anything worse must not happen. But Diela's father, calm and collected, intervenes. He says no rules are broken yet, and they must observe longer. He watches intently, his gaze fixed on the unfolding chaos. He's looking for something specific in the battle. He sees it. The subtle, invisible currents. He's reading the flow of mana, understanding the deeper mechanics at play. He realizes Diela's clever strategy. She aims for his feet exactly when he starts his incantations, disrupting his spells. Reg is caught off guard, ice shards striking him hard. He cries out in pain, the impact jolting his entire body. He's frustrated, thinking he can't just crumble. He needs to find a way to turn the tide, to fight back hard. Diela, from the wreckage below, watches him. Her eyes are sharp, noticing something critical about his movements. She sees his mana flow has stopped completely. A dangerous stillness hangs in the air around him, a worrying sign. Diela thinks he's definitely planning something. Whatever it is, it's not good for her. She can feel it coming. She bows to herself. The very next time he starts his incantations, she will strike. She will get him then. Suddenly, Reg leaps, propelling himself high into the sky. His butler looks up, surprised by the unexpected move. Reg thinks Diela shouldn't be able to sense his mana from this extreme distance. It's too far to cast spells. He realizes casting intricate spells from such a height is impossible. He needs a different approach, a raw power move. He decides there's only one solution now. He will destroy the entire platform, but without any formal incantations. Reg gathers an enormous amount of raw mana, the energy swirling violently around him, building to a terrifying crescendo. He unleashes the raw power, slamming it down with incredible force. The ground beneath him shatters instantly. A young man with striking white hair and red eyes watches the destruction unfold. He observes the scene intently. The platform explodes into a shower of debris. Diela's mother screams Reg's name, her voice filled with panic and dread. Reg is on the ground, dust swirling around him from the impact. He looks up, his eyes burning with fierce resolve. He slowly pushes himself up, refusing to stay down. He starts gathering mana again, preparing for his next move. Diela, despite her injuries and exhaustion, mirrors his resolve. She begins to gather mana too, her hands glowing softly. Her eyes are fierce, full of determination. She remembers words from her past, a crucial lesson about magic itself. She recalls her mentor's voice. Think of magic like brushstrokes on a painting. It's about how you use the energy. Mana is your paint, her mentor taught, and spellcasting, that's your brush. It's how you shape the world. You collect the free-floating paint with your brush, he explained, to create an entire, vivid image from nothing. He looked at her with understanding. That, Diela, he said, pausing for emphasis, is what we call magic. Diela's eyes widen with newfound clarity. The memory ignites something within her, a spark of pure understanding. She stands with her mentor under a starry sky, mana swirling around them. This moment changed everything for her. Back in the present, Diela closes her eyes, focusing intently. She feels the power coursing through her body once more. Mana is paint, she remembers, and spells are the brush. She feels it now, the raw mana at her fingertips. She remembers the instruction clearly. Use the paint to draw. She knows exactly what she needs to do. That is magic, she whispers, her voice filled with newfound confidence. She prepares to unleash her own power. Diela stands tall, glowing with blue mana. She's conjuring ice spears, a powerful display of her awakened abilities. Her butler gasps, eyes wide with disbelief. That is, he can't believe what he's witnessing in front of him. Diela's mother cries out, shocked. H honey, Diela is using one-star magic. She's stunned by her daughter's power. Ice spears, she exclaims, her voice shaking. You've done it now, Diela. She's both proud and terrified for her. Reg sees the ice spears forming around Diela. His expression hardens, realizing the full extent of her new power. He thinks this doesn't change anything. He's still confident, believing he maintains a crucial step ahead in this duel. He tells himself that even with one-star magic, Diela still can't beat him. He has a plan, a way to victory. He vows to hit her first, before her ice spears can connect. He must be faster, more precise, to secure the win. Then I'll win, he declares internally. His resolve is absolute. He will not lose this fight, not to her. Diela launches her ice spears. They fly through the air, sharp and deadly, aimed directly at her opponent. Reg prepares his own counterattack, mana swirling around him, ready to meet her magic with his own powerful force. Their spells collide in a blinding flash of light and energy. The impact creates a massive, devastating explosion. Diela's mother screams her name, her voice filled with pure terror. The sight is too much for her to bear. The entire platform explodes violently, sending debris flying everywhere. The ground shatters, unable to withstand the immense power. A huge sphere of energy erupts, consuming everything. The battle reaches its chaotic, destructive climax, shaking the very earth. The white-haired boy watches from a distance, his red eyes fixed on the unfolding catastrophe. He seems unfazed. He observes the raw power unleashed, the sheer scale of the destruction. His gaze is intense, taking everything in. He knows this battle is far from over. This is just one step in a much larger, more complex journey for them. His presence hints at a deeper connection to Diela's new abilities, a secret past that still influences her present fight. He holds a significant role, perhaps as a guide or a catalyst for her growth. His teaching proved crucial in this moment. His calm demeanor suggests a profound understanding of magic, even beyond what the current combatants are displaying in their duel. The explosion settles, leaving a cloud of dust and wreckage. The battlefield is unrecognizable, utterly transformed by the power. Diela's mother is still reeling from the shock, her hands pressed to her mouth. She can only watch, horrified. Rake's father remains stoic, his expression unreadable. He trusts the process, even as chaos consumes the arena around them. The sheer force of the magic has irrevocably changed the landscape. Nothing will ever be the same after this clash. The spectators are stunned into silence, unable to process the magnitude of the power they just witnessed. It's overwhelming. The air crackles with residual energy, a testament to the powerful spells exchanged. The tension is palpable even now. Diela's resolve, fueled by her mentor's words, allowed her to tap into incredible strength. She pushed past her limits. Reg, acknowledging her effort, chose to meet her with his full power. He honored her struggle, fighting as her brother. This duel was more than just a fight. It was a testament to Diela's growth, her determination to prove herself worthy. The dust settles slowly, revealing the aftermath. Silence descends, heavy with the weight of the immense power unleashed. Everyone holds their breath, waiting for a sign. The raw power of their clash leaves a profound, lasting impact on all. The smoke clears, but the true outcome remains shrouded. This was only the beginning. The real storm hasn't hit yet. A letter arrives at the Duplain residence, an urgent message that changes everything. Servants move quickly, preparing for the day. It's an invitation to an upcoming social gathering, a seemingly ordinary event, but something about it makes the household stir. A servant holds the envelope, asking how the lady would like this important letter handled. The tension in the air is palpable. Our lady, Diela, stands quietly, her expression thoughtful, almost distant. She looks out a window, lost in her own world. 1 year ago, Diela is training hard. She pushes herself, summoning a shimmering blue barrier around her. She looks absolutely spent. The barrier pulses with energy, a testament to her fierce concentration. Her face is streaked with dirt and a bit of blood. She activates the barrier fully, a wave of power radiating from her. Her opponent, a man with white hair, watches intently. But then, the barrier shatters. Diela collapses to her knees, overwhelmed, tears streaming down her face. She screams in frustration. She cries out, "I lost." The sound echoes, filled with despair. Her small body shakes from the effort and the defeat. Her parents arrive, seeing the devastated scene. Her father, Raymond, looks absolutely furious at what he witnesses. "Honey, what on earth is this?" he demands, gesturing wildly. He can barely believe his eyes, seeing his daughter in such a state. He points at the lingering magical residue. "Something this filthy and vulgar is what you consider a magic spar," he shouts. His anger boils over. "You're telling me this so-called teacher has been teaching something like this to a young lady of Duplain?" He then introduces himself to an older, stern-looking man. "My name is Raymond Oswald Duplain," he declares proudly. "It's an honor to serve you and take part in the war, Your Grace," Raymond says, holding his helmet. He's ready for battle. The older man, a Grand Duke, responds calmly. "Yes, I've heard a lot about you from your father." He looks closely at Raymond. You have eyes like your father's, he observes, a hint of something unreadable in his gaze. Raymond responds. One's full of ambition. He looks determined, ready to prove himself. He offers a quick, thank you. Diela looks up, her eyes still red and teary, but now with a flicker of resolve. She's processing everything. The Grand Duke then shifts his attention to Diela. The look in your eyes has improved a lot, Diela, he states. Maids rush to Diela, gasping in shock at her injuries. Lady Diela, are you all right? They exclaim, worried sick. My goodness, one maid cries, seeing Diela's bloodied face. They gather around her, wanting to help immediately. You need to receive treatment at once, another maid urges, reaching out to Diela. The scene is chaotic. Diela stands motionless, staring at her teacher. She's ignoring the maids, her focus entirely on him. The teacher watches her with a calm, steady gaze. He doesn't move, just waits for her. Diela looks down, a single tear falling. She feels the weight of her failure. She looks up at her teacher, her voice barely a whisper. I lost, she says, her heart heavy. I'm sorry, she stammers, fresh tears welling up. She feels like she's disappointed him. The teacher steps forward, his expression unchanging. He knows exactly what she needs to hear. He crouches down to her level, offering comfort. It's all right, he says softly. His presence is a steady anchor. It's fine to lose, he continues, looking into her eyes. He gently places a hand on her shoulder. Using this frustration, climb higher and grow stronger, he tells her. He plants a seed of resilience within her. Diela looks at him, her tears still falling, but her eyes now show a spark of understanding, a new determination. Suddenly, Diela cries out again, a deeper, more profound sorrow. She crumples, overcome by emotion. Her mother rushes forward, pushing past the maids. My lady! The maids exclaim, startled by her sudden movement. The mother runs towards Diela, her elegant dress swaying. She moves with surprising speed, filled with maternal concern. Diela, her mother cries, reaching her daughter. She pulls Diela into a tight embrace, tears in her own eyes. Oh my, Diela, I can't believe you went through that, her mother sobs, holding her close. She's heartbroken for Diela. You've had such a hard time all this while, my baby, her mother whispers, stroking Diela's hair. She feels immense guilt. Diela cries into her mother's shoulder. Mother, she manages, finding comfort in the embrace. It's okay now, her mother reassures her. Though her own voice trembles, she tells Diela to get treated. Go quickly and get treated first, her mother says, pulling back slightly. Diela nods, still tearful. Yes, Diela whispers, before being led away by the maids. Her mother watches her go, wiping her own tears. The mother turns, her face contorted with rage. She glares at the teacher, her sorrow replaced by fury. You vulgar wretch, she screams, stepping towards him. She's completely lost her composure, eyes blazing. Do you even understand what you've done? She demands, her voice shaking. She blames him entirely for Diela's pain. She continues her tirade, stepping closer to the teacher. He stands his ground, unfazed by her outburst. So what if he taught her one-star magic? Do you think that makes you impressive? She scoffs, utterly dismissive. You taught her nothing but cheap tricks. She spits, looking down at him. She's disgusted by his methods. And smeared filth all over a noble lily, she yells, her voice rising. She sees Diela as defiled by his teaching. You made the Grand Duke's daughter do something dirty, vulgar, and obscene, she accuses, shaking her head in disbelief. She rages on. There's a world you lowly trash don't even know exists. She believes he's beneath their notice. Value worth protecting, she declares, pointing at him. Her husband, Raymond, watches the scene unfold quietly. Honey, you saw it too, didn't you? This isn't even a magic spar, she exclaims, turning to Raymond. He was teaching Diela something this awful, she insists, looking back at the teacher. She expects Raymond to agree. The teacher, still calm, asks a piercing question. Do you not know who is behaving the most vulgarly in this place right now? His words silence her. She stares at him, utterly shocked. Her face flushes with a mix of embarrassment and disbelief. Raymond steps forward. This person is just a mere commoner, he says, surprising his wife. Yes, a worthless commoner, Raymond confirms, looking at the teacher. He acknowledges the teacher's low status. But he is our daughter's teacher, Raymond adds, his tone firm. He reminds his wife of the respect owed. What parent in the world treats their child's teacher like this? Raymond asks, his gaze steady. He's challenging her. The teacher looks down, a soft, "Please forgive her," escaping his lips. He's asking Raymond to excuse his wife's behavior. Raymond considers this. His wife, still fuming, says, everyone has their own way of loving their child. The teacher looks up, meeting Raymond's eyes. "No, it's all right," he says, dismissing the need for forgiveness. The Grand Duke acknowledges Raig's good job teaching Diela one-star magic. But he says this isn't enough for high society. He tells Raig his daughter needs more than just an instructor. She needs a true teacher to guide her. The Grand Duke watches Raig carefully, sensing his ambitions. He understands Raig aims higher than anyone expects. He sees Raig's desire to reach 4-star magic and beyond. This ambition, coming from a commoner, makes him wary. He admits this drive is what makes Raig so frightening. He knows Raig is already preparing to leave their estate. But the Grand Duke asks Raig to stay and teach Diela a little longer. He has a powerful offer for him. He asks Raig directly if he wants 3-star magic. It's a bold question, and Raig's answer is immediate. Raig doesn't hesitate. He looks the Grand Duke in the eye and confirms, yes, he wants 3-star magic. Just like that, the deal is done. Raig walks through the grand halls, heading to the estate's vast library. He pulls out a heavy, ancient spellbook from the shelf. Its cover is ornate, and the pages are filled with complex runes. He opens it, revealing the intricate diagrams and powerful magic within. This is what he came for, a new level of power. He finds spellbook after spellbook. He's surrounded by countless 3-star magic tomes, more than he imagined. Raig is impressed. He realizes how rare these books are and how much power they represent. This is a huge gain. He knows most mages spend their entire lives just trying to obtain a single 2-star spellbook. Yet he has so many. With this treasure trove, Raig now has more than enough reason to stay longer at the estate. His ambition is fueled. He thinks about Peline, knowing she would be furious if she found out about his new collection. It's a dangerous secret. Diela, now fully recovered and radiating confidence, stands proudly. She clears her throat for a big announcement. She declares herself a 1-star mage. Raig, cool and collected, confirms she technically is, having used magic once. Diela is furious. She can't believe that's it. She thought her achievement would be met with more enthusiasm. She shouts at Raig, asking why he isn't happy about his apprentice's progress. She feels completely let down. Raig explains it isn't an achievement she's earned, making Diela even more frustrated. This magic thing isn't easy. Diela struggles, clutching her head. She realizes the path to magic is harder than she thought, despite her initial success. Raig observes her, noting her recovery. She's bounced back quickly from whatever made her cry her eyes out recently. He points this out, reminding her how upset she was. Diela immediately denies it, cheeks flushed with embarrassment. She insists she wasn't crying, claiming it was just dust in her eyes. She then complains her dad should have told her sooner. She thought she was getting kicked out. The misunderstanding is clear, and Raig just looks on, amused by her antics. He decides to start the lesson. He tells her she's growing quickly and will learn other 1-star spells soon enough. Diela is confused. She asks what Raig means by quick. Her progress seems normal to her. Raig explains that her growth is uncommon. Manifesting 1-star magic not long after its initial manifestation is rare. Diela's eyes light up. She knew it. She tells Raig she's the kind of person who always does what she says she'll do. She's eager to start. She asks what they'll begin with, suggesting magic arrow, wind blade, or ice spear. She's excited about the powerful spells Raig used. She thinks she could even hit Raig with the ice spear if she practiced. But Raig cuts her off. They will practice magic manifestation. Diela is shocked, her excitement quickly fading. She asks why, thinking they were finally learning 1-star spells. Raig explains there are many reasons for this. Ultimately, the basics are what matter most in magic. He simplifies it. It all comes down to mana control. Diela sighs, but agrees to follow his instruction. If Raig says so, then it must be right, even if she's disappointed. Raig is surprised by her sudden obedience. He looks at her, a hint of amusement in his eyes. He expected more resistance. Diela notices his gaze and asks why he's looking at her like that. She wonders if there's something on her face. Raig admits he's just surprised to see her listen so obediently. Diela blushes, indignant at his comment. She asks what he takes her for. She insists she's respected his words from the very beginning, a complete fabrication. Raig reminds her of the time she poured dirty water over his head, not once, but twice. Diela shrinks, embarrassed. He asks if she still remembers that. Diela, flustered, admits it's hard to forget. Raig laughs, finding her reaction amusing. He quickly changes the subject, commenting on the great weather. Diela, still embarrassed, forces a smile and agrees. She suggests they hurry and practice magic manifestation, suddenly finding it fun. Raig watches her, a slight smirk on his face. Diela practices tirelessly, finding magic manifestations surprisingly enjoyable. She laughs, completely absorbed in her task. Later that night, Diella is exhausted from her intense practice. She collapses, breathing heavily, but feels a sense of accomplishment. Reg tells her he heard she's going to get even busier. Diella sighs, confirming the rumors about her packed schedule. She doesn't know how she'll manage. Starting next week, she'll have etiquette and general education classes added to her routine. Reg asks if that isn't a good thing. She's learned one-star magic, now she'll receive a true noble education. Diella looks up, her eyes pleading. She asks if Reg thinks she's happy about it. She lists all the subjects. Basic noble etiquette, foreign languages, geography, history, botany, piano, sewing. She doesn't understand why she needs all this. She wonders how Aislinn endured all of it. Reg explains that's why Aislinn is called the Flower of Dupland. Aislinn is at the center of Ebelstein's high society because she mastered all these noble arts. Diella just wants magic. Reg tells her to do it then. He was hired by the Grand Duke, so they have plenty of leeway to focus on magic. But Diella is still worried. She's not sure they'll have that much time. She knows her mother won't let it stand. Reg asks why the madam wants to drive him out. Diella explains her mother fears she'll drift from noble dignity. The madam worries Diella will become like a mercenary if she learns from Raig. Her current spar certainly lacks dignity. Reg agrees it's far from what nobles pursue. He then suggests a solution, silence the madam by removing her pretext. The next day, the madam is pacing, agitated. She complains about Reg, calling him an indecent teacher. She laments her poor baby, Diella, for having such an unsuitable instructor. She worries about her daughter's future. But then Diella appears. She's dressed in a simple, elegant blue dress, her posture perfect, her expression serene. The madam is stunned. Diella greets her politely, asking if she rested well last night, a picture of noble grace. The madam is speechless, barely able to utter a confused sound. Diella apologizes for missing their catch-up. She explains she was treating her injuries, then mentions her piano lesson and tight general education schedule, excusing herself. The madam is completely taken aback by Diella's sudden transformation. Diella calmly confirms her etiquette lessons start next week. She adds that thanks to her mother's consideration, she's very much looking forward to them. The madam is utterly shocked. The madam can only stammer, telling Diella to hurry along for class. She's speechless, watching her daughter walk away. Diella walks with perfect noble grace, leaving her mother in stunned silence. This was only the beginning. The real storm hasn't hit yet. Laughter echoes through the Rosea Salon in the Ebelstein Noble District. Everyone feels the good mood, a stark contrast to recent worries. One woman, Lady Elente, expresses her concern. She was truly worried about Lady Aislinn at the last gathering. Lady Aislinn looked so weighed down with worry back then. Elente couldn't help but notice her troubled expression. Aislinn responds, surprised, "Oh, was I?" She seems genuinely unaware of how deeply her worries showed. She quickly assures Elente that she didn't mean to cause any distress. Aislinn then explains her past worries are now resolved. Elente is relieved. She heard the rumors about Aislinn going outside the noble district to save someone. Lady Elente, the second daughter of House Belmiard, admits she was incredibly worried when she heard that news. Aislinn thanks Elente for her concern. She then reveals the truth behind her actions. Her younger sister Diella needed a magic teacher. Aislinn had been busy finding one herself. The other ladies are stunned. Aislinn went to find someone in person. What could that even mean? They wondered just how incredible this teacher must be for a Duplain young lady to seek them out personally. Denise, the second daughter of House Veltus, asks if it's for Lady Diella, Aislinn's younger sister. Denise confirms she saw Diella at the mansion not long ago. The change in her was astonishing. Diella has become such a proper young lady. Denise could hardly recognize her anymore. She even manifested one-star magic. Her conduct is neat and composed, impressing everyone. Denise admits Diella's transformation made her feel like she needed to work harder too. It's a powerful change. Another lady, Elente, is confused. Huh? That's strange. Aislinn is bringing up her sister? She remembers Diella was always hidden away. Wasn't Duplain hiding Diella? She asks, genuinely perplexed. The ladies are impressed. It seems Aislinn found a truly good magic teacher for her sister. Aislinn confirms the teacher doesn't have status but must be exceptionally capable. His talent is undeniable. She states it was truly worth going all the way to the Belden Mercenary Corps to find him. Elente is shocked. A mercenary? The revelation leaves her speechless and visibly disturbed. She remembers Diella's past antics. Come to think of it, if it's Diella. Elente trails off, the memory resurfacing. Isn't she the reason our mansion's cook ran away from Duplin? The question hangs heavy in the air. Elente reflects on Aisline's kindness. She is truly a caring person to go to such lengths. She can't believe it. To think the teacher not only reformed that infamous brute, but even turned her into a one-star mage. Elente asks, pardon? She can't quite grasp the full extent of Diela's transformation. Aiseline smiles, explaining that if he's Lady Diela's teacher, his name will surely be known in the future. Elente, eager to know, asks if Aiseline can tell her his name in advance. She's curious about such a remarkable person. Aiseline readily reveals the name. Ah, his name is Derek. She beams with pride. Elente repeats the name, Derek. She holds it, considering the impact this man has had. Diela is discussing etiquette with her maid. She admits etiquette is truly hard to learn on her own. The maid nods, saying, I see. How admirable of you to study by yourself. She's impressed by Diela's effort. Diela blushes, correcting her. It's less that I studied on my own and more that Derek taught me. The maid asks what was difficult when Diela was studying by herself. She wants to understand the extent of Derek's help. Diela smiles. Most of it was difficult. She then adds, I can do even this much, thanks to Derek. The maid sighs. Ah, I see. She's heard this name a lot. She thinks, Derek, 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 Derek. The name is practically an echo in her mind. The maid becomes agitated. That damn Derek. How many times is that name going to come up seriously? She's deeply frustrated and worried. I don't know what he did to Diela, she thinks, her brow furrowed. But I can't just let this stand. There has to be some way around this. She's determined to intervene. Meanwhile, the servants are talking about Lady Diela. She's been so kind to the servants lately. Another servant adds, she's gotten so gentle. Diela's change is remarkable and widely noticed. A gardener observes, Lady Diela looks like she's been in such a good mood lately. He smiles warmly. He notes, she's changed so much in just a few weeks. The transformation is rapid and profound. An older gentleman, perhaps the butler, observes, it really is surprising. He ponders her new demeanor. He realizes, because that's the kind of demeanor I only ever saw in Lady Aiseline, Diela is now truly acting like a noble. He concludes, maybe she's finally trying to be reborn as a true lady. He sees a genuine effort. You can feel noble dignity from Lady Diela now. Her transformation is complete and evident to all. 2 months later, Derek is seen training, surrounded by blue magic, pushing his limits. He breathes heavily, clearly exhausted from his intense magical practice. It's a demanding regimen. Valerian interrupts, asking, oh, sorry, was I interrupting your training? He seems a bit sheepish. Derek, still recovering, replies, not at all. He then asks, what brings you here? Valerian explains, I wanted to talk a bit about Diela. He has something important to discuss. Derek agrees to listen. Valerian then notices the book Derek is holding. But before that, isn't that a 3-star spellbook? Valerian asks, surprised by the advanced text. Derek confirms, yes, it is. His Grace lent it to me. This revelation shocks Valerian. Valerian repeats, he lent that to you? The Duke's trust in Derek is unexpected. Derek admits, yes, it's a difficult level for me right now, but adds, but there's no harm in studying ahead of time. Valerian then says with conviction, enough. He's a true mage. He deeply respects Derek's abilities. The Lord explains Diela belongs to the School of the Wild. Her trait is especially strong among them. Derek knows if he involves himself with her further, he'll only end up breaking her wings. He understands Diela needs to fly free. His presence would only hinder her growth. The Lord understands this completely. He tells Derek there's no longer any reason for him to remain. Derek confirms this. He agrees that his time here in the mansion is now complete. The Lord thanks Derek sincerely for everything. He states Diela was able to grow because of Derek's influence. He admits he hasn't been a good father, consumed by managing the territory, but now feels relieved. Derek is then asked when he plans to leave the mansion. He answers without hesitation. He says Lady Iseline will visit soon, and he plans to ride in her carriage back to Ebelstein. The Lord acknowledges this plan. He then demands Derek return the library key immediately. Derek offers to return the spellbooks he's currently reading. He can pass the key through the head butler. But the Lord insists, his voice firm and unwavering. Return the key now, he commands directly. Derek looks down, a subtle sadness in his eyes, and complies with the Lord's direct order. The Lord dismisses him. Derek turns and leaves the room, a quiet resolve in his steps. He walks down the long, grand hallway, the sound of his boots echoing faintly through the mansion. Diella suddenly appears, confronting Derek. She asks why he's leaving out of nowhere, again. Derek tells her he'll be returning to life as a mercenary, just like he always has. He explains he also plans to study a lot of magic, dedicating himself fully to his craft once more. He adds that Diella will go to Ebelstein for her debutante once she builds up more skill. Diella looks visibly upset by his words, calling him annoying under her breath, clearly frustrated. She says he always manages to say the right thing, leaving her with absolutely nothing to say back. That night, Diella screams awake from a terrifying nightmare. Her eyes are wide with fear and panic. She sees shadowy figures taunting her, calling her a useless, utterly incompetent child. They shout she has nothing to boast about besides her bloodline, possessing not a speck of talent. They brand her the shame of Duplain, yelling that someone like her should never have been born. Diella jolts upright in bed, gasping for air, clutching her chest, still trapped in the horror of the dream. A maid rushes in, startled by the commotion, asking if Lady Diella is all right, having heard shouting. Diella is still shaken. A thought sparks in her mind. What if she creates a pretext, a reason for him to stay? Maybe she could go back to her old ways, slapping people, throwing tantrums, causing all sorts of trouble. She thinks if she acts out, Derek would have a reason to stay for her. The maid asks if Diella is feeling unwell anywhere. Diella quickly replies, "No, I'm fine." She realizes she's not going to do something like that anymore. It won't make her valuable in his eyes. The next day, Derek is preparing to leave in a carriage. He asks the driver for a drop-off location. He requests to be dropped off by the commercial district, stating that should be perfectly fine. The driver agrees to his request. Derek is then told to go and say his goodbyes to everyone. He meets the Lord and other staff assembled outside the mansion, ready to see him off. The Lord tells Derek life in the mansion couldn't have been easy and he's worked hard. He offers help if anything happens in the future, urging Derek to contact him immediately. Derek thanks him, a genuine expression of gratitude on his face for the Lord's support. Diella confronts him one last time. She asks if he thought she would beg him not to go. She defiantly declares she's not a child anymore, her gaze firm and resolved against begging. Derek tells her it was an honor to be able to teach her, acknowledging their time together. He hopes she'll remember the magic she learned with him, even if he can't proudly claim her as a student. Diella smiles, then asserts, sorry, but I'm going to proudly say you're my teacher." She warns him he won't be able to live quietly anymore, knowing his new status in the world. "You're the teacher of the great Diella Catherine Duplain, after all," she declares proudly. Derek looks at her, a wave of emotion passing through his eyes, his expression softening with her words. Diella, with deep concern, tells him to take care of himself. "Don't go doing anything dangerous." She urges him not to get hurt, her voice filled with genuine worry for his well-being out there. Derek replies that he'll be fine. He then tells her not to overexert herself either. Diella insists she's already an adult now and can fully take care of herself, strong and independent. Derek gently reaches out and pats her head, a tender gesture of affection and understanding. He repeats, "Derek, take my words to heart." His voice is soft but firm with a hidden meaning. He tells her she doesn't need to become an adult so early, hinting at the burdens it carries. Diella starts to cry, tears welling in her eyes as he pulls away. The emotions are too much. She shouts his name, Derek. Her voice cracks with emotion as he turns and walks away. She waves goodbye, tears streaming down her face, telling him, "See you again," with a hopeful plea. Derek turns back, a small smile on his face. "Let's meet again in Ebelstein, Lady Diella." Diella, still crying, manages a tearful "okay" as he finally departs in the carriage, disappearing from view. Derek arrives at the Ebelstein commercial district, the bustling, noisy market coming into view. He immediately sees a man being brutally beaten by a group of thugs in a dark, grimy alley. The thugs are shouting, "That's right, kill him, beat him up more." Derek doesn't hesitate for a second. He steps forward, delivering a powerful punch to one of the attackers. The thug collapses from the sudden impact. Derek stands over the chaos, his eyes burning red. He stares at the brutal scene, a grim determination set on his face. This is his new reality. He just says, "I'm back home." His voice is quiet but carries an immense, chilling weight. What happens next changes everything for him. The real storm hasn't even begun to hit. A stunned silence falls over the attackers. They stare at him, eyes wide with shock. He stands there, a lone figure against the chaos. His return signals a new era. This was only the beginning of something much larger. The true challenges lie ahead. The air crackles with unspoken tension. Nobody in that alley is ready for what comes next. He is back, and Ebelstein will never be the same. The story has just truly begun. The action intensifies as the story unfolds. 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 He wants to know the rules. How much should he resist for her to be helpful? He's direct with his question. She tells him to resist with everything he's got. She's confident, almost arrogant in her own power. He just smiles back, a hint of challenge in his eyes. He accepts her command, ready to begin. She thinks he has a funny way of talking, but he just replies, "Very well, as you command." He powers up with a soft blue glow. His eyes turn red, signaling he's serious about this. The arena is set, he stands ready, and she begins her first move, conjuring ice. She unleashes ice shards, sending them his way. She's already sizing him up, feeling superior. She thinks he's just a commoner brat. He's worth praising for mastering a 1-star rank at a young age. But he's far too arrogant, she decides. She'll make him understand the wall between nobles and commoners. More ice spears fly, sharp and fast. He moves with ease, dodging them without breaking his stride. He seems completely unfazed by her attacks. He just watches, waiting for her next action. She pauses, surprised. He's still standing, still composed. This isn't going as she expected. He just looks at her, a slight smirk on his face. He's clearly enjoying this little game. She's annoyed, calling him this little brat. Her expression hardens, realizing he's not so easy. He did have a reason to look that confident, she admits. But that doesn't mean the wall between them disappears. She unleashes a barrage of ice arrows. Her magic intensifies, determined to finish this quickly. He stands his ground, arms crossed. The arrows deflect off an unseen barrier, not reaching him. She's still trying to overwhelm him with sheer numbers. Her ice magic fills the air around him. He just keeps deflecting, not even breaking a sweat. His control is surprisingly precise and effective. she thinks. It'll be over with this. And sends a massive, sweeping ice attack his way. He's ready for it, anticipating her move. His body tenses, preparing for the impact. He creates an ice shield, deflecting her powerful magic. The force of the blow pushes him back slightly. She's shocked by his skill, utterly unable to believe what she's seen. Her attack was repelled. He's just too good, she realizes. Her confidence wavers, replaced by a hint of frustration. The old man watching praises his magic level. For a commoner, his skill is truly excellent. It seems the claim of him being a veteran mercenary wasn't just empty talk. The old man is impressed. Elente admits she underestimated him. Her previous arrogance fades, replaced by respect. Then this time she decides. She'll attack him seriously, putting her full power into the next move. She switches to fire magic, summoning powerful fire spears. The air around her heats up rapidly. He notices she changed her strategy. She's not trying to hit him directly this time. She's planning to blow away the entire sparring arena. A destructive, wide-area attack is coming. For a noble, her adaptability is pretty impressive, he thinks. She learns quickly from her mistakes. The fire spears rain down from above, creating a fiery inferno. The ground shakes with their power. He knows he can't dodge this. The attack covers too much ground, leaving no escape route. He prepares for the impact, his resolve firm. He'll have to meet this head-on with his own power. He forms a massive ice barrier, clashing with her fire magic. Blue and orange light collide violently. A huge explosion erupts, filling the arena with blinding light. The force sends debris flying everywhere. Elente is caught in the flash. She can't see anything, momentarily disoriented by the bright burst. She tries to listen for him, but she doesn't hear a thing. The silence is unnerving, absolute. Panic sets in. Did something just pass by? She strains her ears, but there's no sound at all. I didn't hear a thing, she exclaims, her voice laced with confusion and growing fear. Don't tell me, she whispers. A chilling realization dawns on her. This silence is deliberate. He appears behind her, revealing his trick. It was a delusion-type magic that made sound disappear. He even calculated that she'd rely on her hearing. He anticipated her every move, her every weakness. She realizes then, that first attack that missed was intentional. It was all part of his plan. How dare he go easy on me, she screams, absolutely furious at his calculated deception. She powers up again, her body glowing with renewed energy. She's ready to unleash her full force. She boasts that rapid magic manifestation is her specialty. She'll beat him with pure speed. She tells herself to focus, Elente. The moment magic manifests from his hand, she'll strike. I'll manifest first and end this, she declares, watching his hand intently, waiting for the signal. She watches his hand, but then magic manifests from an unexpected place. A subtle shift. The tip of his toes are manifesting magic? She's completely stunned, her eyes wide with disbelief. He unleashes a powerful purple lightning attack from his feet, hitting her hard and fast. Urgh, she cries out in pain, thrown back by the unexpected and overwhelming force. The old man watches, impressed by the unconventional fighting style. He can't read his flow. From the perspective of regulations, it's hard to keep up with his unpredictable methods. Elente falls, gasping for breath, defeated. He approaches her, still composed and powerful. She looks up at him, a new respect in her eyes. You are seriously an interesting kid. He tells her honestly that he looked down on her at first. He thought she was just a blustering liar. She smiles, a genuine expression of acknowledgement. But you taught me something interesting, so... Thank you, she says, extending her hand towards him, a gesture of respect and surrender. He responds with another powerful purple lightning strike. It's a final, decisive blow. Kyaa, she screams, shocked by the unexpected attack. The energy engulfs her completely. His eyes glow red, intense, and focused on her. There's no mercy, only absolute power in his gaze. Our guy delivers a powerful magic attack, purple energy swirling around his hand as he leaps through the air. The red-haired woman below looks up, completely overwhelmed by his sudden, explosive move. Her eyes are wide with shock, mouth agape, as the force of his magic bears down on her. An old man, the referee, quickly rings a bell, its sound echoing, signaling the end of the intense spar. The red-haired woman, Elente, steps back, her foot sliding slightly as she regains her balance after the match. Our guy, the mercenary, stands opposite her, his expression calm as she recovers from the powerful blow. Elente looks away, a small frown on her face, clearly frustrated with her performance in the fight. She then turns back, her expression softening a little, ready to address him after their combat. Elente compliments him, saying he's a splendid mage, acknowledging his undeniable skill in the spar. He responds, telling her she is the one with reflexes he's never seen before, turning the praise back on her. Elente smiles, accusing him of being good at flattery, suggesting he's quite used to navigating this world. She then brings up his background, mentioning she heard he's a commoner, which surprises her given his talent. Despite his origins, she believes he honed his skill through bone-grinding effort, recognizing his hard work. He simply states he has to survive as a mercenary, explaining the drive behind his intense dedication. Elente dismisses his humility, saying she likes hardworking people, appreciating his honest nature. She points out an old magic teacher behind him, warning him not to get on his bad side. Our guy glances back at the teacher, then returns his attention to Elente, absorbing her advice. He thanks her sincerely, admitting he learned a lot from their spar, showing a humble side. Elente mentions another sparring match coming up at the Rosea Salon, hinting at her desire for further growth. She hopes she might even get a good result this time, demonstrating her competitive spirit. He reassures her, saying with her skill, she doesn't have much to worry about for future challenges. Elente, however, clarifies her true ambition, stating she's not interested in small fry. The person she truly wants to beat, she reveals, is Aiseline Eleanor Duplain, a formidable rival. His eyes widen slightly, a flicker of recognition or intrigue crossing his face at the mention of the name. Elente sighs, realizing she's prattled on for too long, feeling a bit self-conscious about her rambling. She then dismisses him, telling him he may go, signaling the end of their conversation for now. Our guide turns and walks away, a quiet departure from the elegant setting, leaving her to her thoughts. Elente sits, sipping tea, a thoughtful expression on her face as she processes their discussion. She recalls the mercenary's name, Derek, and the Belden Mercenary Corps, a memory stirring within her. A past image of a young girl, Diela, flashes in her mind, connecting to the mercenary's name. Her eyes narrow with sudden intensity, a realization hitting her hard as the pieces click into place. She looks directly at him, a spark of recognition in her gaze, as she finally connects him to her memories. "It's you, isn't it?" she asks, her voice filled with a newfound certainty as she confronts him. "The mercenary who taught Diela," she exclaims, a wide smile spreading across her face, confirming her suspicion. The scene shifts to a grand room with a roaring fireplace, setting a serious tone for their next discussion. Elente gets straight to the point, declaring that if she can beat Aiseline, she'll do anything he asks. He looks surprised, asking if she truly wants to defeat Lady Aiseline, taken aback by her bold statement. Elente explains that Aiseline isn't a 2-star mage yet, and she wants to reach that level first. But even if she can't reach it first, she wants to beat Aiseline at the magic spar this time around. He observes her, remarking on her incredibly competitive spirit, sensing the depth of her resolve. Elente corrects him, calling it something else entirely, a deeper, more raw emotion. She admits that before, she wanted to beat Aiseline so badly, the desire consuming her. She wouldn't even hesitate to do something unsightly, revealing the extent of her past jealousy. He listens intently, his expression unreadable, as she lays bare her vulnerable feelings. "Jealousy is dirty and pathetic," she states, acknowledging her own flaws with a somber tone. She confirms her confession. She was jealous of Aiseline, openly admitting her past bitterness. Elente remembers how her attempts to gossip or dig up flaws didn't turn out well at all. Instead, Aiseline only tried to understand and embrace her, making Elente's efforts feel even more shameful. He pauses, then asks why she's telling him all of this, curious about her sudden confession. She tells him she wants him to know her sincerity, even if it means exposing her shameful side to him. Elente then states she has a few things she wants to ask him, setting the stage for her proposition. He nods, giving her permission to go ahead, ready to hear her requests after her candid admissions. She believes that since he stayed with Duplain, she should know how skilled Aiseline truly is, and also what Elente's own skills are like, seeking an honest assessment from him. That's why she's asking him directly, trusting his judgment and expertise in magic. She poses the ultimate question. What must she do to defeat Aiseline, her voice filled with desperation? He remains silent for a moment, processing her request, the weight of her ambition hanging in the air. He acknowledges that Lady Aiseline's skill is indeed at an astonishing level, validating Elente's challenge. But he also assures Elente that she possesses tremendous skill herself, giving her hope. So, if she works hard to refine her abilities, he implies, she might just achieve her goal. He can read people's hearts from their eyes sometimes, and he sees the truth in her gaze. This young lady in front of him isn't asking for praise. She's asking because she's desperate. She is desperate enough to seek an answer even from a lowly mercenary like him. He looks at her directly, his expression firm, and delivers a blunt assessment. You can't beat her. Elinte's eyes widen, her confident demeanor wavering as his words strike her hard. She insists, even so, her voice trembling slightly, refusing to accept his judgment. Even so, I want to win, she declares, her resolve hardening once more, despite the perceived impossibility. Even if it's impossible, I'll win, she states with fierce determination, her eyes burning with conviction. The next gathering is coming up fast, and there's a big magic sparring match on the schedule. Aiseline hears that young Lady Elente is becoming even more outstanding, so she needs to train hard. Just then, Elente arrives, spotting Aiseline and complimenting her humility. Aiseline is surprised to see her. Elente says she was just talking about Aiseline, who heard her voice from far away. Other ladies nearby wonder if they should even get involved in this brewing rivalry. Elente then asks Aiseline if she also needs to prepare for the match. She points out that Aiseline hasn't lost a single match recently and is known as the flower of House Duplain. Aiseline thanks her for the compliment but admits she can't let her guard down against Elente. Elente then reveals she hired a new magic instructor, a commoner, which makes her feel quite confident. She adds that it's actually Aiseline who trusts this new instructor, not her. Aiseline's eyes go wide. She immediately recognizes the name Elente mentions. Her face shows pure shock, the realization hitting her hard and fast. Elente grins, gloating. She tells Aiseline to look at her frustrated eyes because Elente got what Aiseline couldn't. Aiseline feels a deep sense of despair, her mind reeling from Elente's words. But then, Aiseline puts on a brave face and actually congratulates Elente. She genuinely praises Derek, calling him dependable and trustworthy, much to Elente's surprise. Elente is completely taken aback by Aiseline's unexpected and positive reaction. Aiseline then starts to consider asking Derek to tutor her in magic too, since her progress has slowed. Diela, a blonde girl nearby, panics, spilling her tea and reacting with utter horror. She desperately tells Aiseline not to, saying it's not necessary, because Derek is precious to her. Aiseline looks thoughtful, processing Diela's intense reaction and the implications. Elente, seeing Aiseline ponder, seems to understand the true value of having Derek. She then firmly declares that Derek is hers. Elente Alfione Belmiard's instructor. Diela tries to add that Derek seemed a little, but Elente quickly cuts her off, saying it's gotten late. Elente smiles sweetly, stating the conversation was enjoyable, and leaves early for her first lesson. She walks away, leaving Aiseline and Diela standing there, both looking troubled. Aiseline worries, hoping nothing goes wrong, thinking Derek isn't a bad person. Meanwhile, Derek sits in a tavern with another man. The man notes Derek's work for House Belmiard is growing steadily. Derek finds it convenient to handle the commissions within Ebelstein, saving him travel time. The man doubts Derek's plan, questioning if it's even possible to beat young Lady Aiseline in a duel. Derek replies that it's not impossible if Elente reaches the 2-star rank, as the difference in stars will overwhelm Aiseline. The man asks what plausible method Derek has in mind to achieve such a feat. Derek just stares at him intently, a deep red glow in his eyes. He says it's precisely because of that plausible method that he needs the man's help. And not just his but Pailine's help too for their safety. The man looks shocked, realizing Derek is thinking of something dangerous, not realistic. Derek simply states that reality itself is inherently dangerous. Pauline, a blonde woman, bursts into tears, crying that she was deceived. She wails that she fell for a scheme and was completely swindled by con artists. The man sighs, then agrees to take Pauline with Derek, seeing no other option. Elente, dressed in practical training clothes, stands ready at the Belmiard estate. Derek, with a serious expression, prepares to begin the sparring lesson. He explains that they will start with 10 repetitions, then move on to more detailed magic. Elente is surprised, realizing she'll be doing 10 duels straight with no breaks. Derek explains he's checking her practical combat abilities, noting her roughness from mercenary training. Elente accepts the challenge, saying she didn't hire him for history lessons. Derek simply states he will begin, his eyes glowing with power as he forms an ice spear. Elente struggles, forcing out spells, panting heavily as mana drains from her body. She collapses to the ground, utterly exhausted, gasping for air and feeling completely depleted. She protests, saying she has no mana left, but Derek tells her to squeeze harder. He orders her to focus and draw 10 more ice spears, then 100 magic arrows. Elente cries out saying she can't, she truly has no mana left for anything more. Derek tells her to stop making excuses and draw another shot, pushing her past her limit. She collapses again, completely spent, lying on the ground. Derek calmly tells her she's done good work and can have dinner now. But Elente pushes herself up, refusing to give up, saying it's just physical exertion. She defiantly states that giving up over this much is unthinkable, her eyes burning with resolve. She blames her fatigue on the social gathering, insisting she'll give her all tomorrow. Elente then suggests they should raise the intensity even more for tomorrow's session. She says this current level isn't even proper training, pushing for more. Derek looks at her, then asks, "Tomorrow, you say?" Elente looks confused, asking what he means by that question. Derek states he thought he mentioned it, his gaze unwavering, and reveals they're currently having an evening session. Elente laughs, thinking he's making a funny joke, not believing his words. Derek stares at her, his red eyes cold, and says he never received any requests for jokes. Come on, Elente is pushing through, summoning magic arrows again and again. Her trainer, Derek, is relentless, demanding more. He says there's still mana in her body, then asks for just 10 more arrows. Elente can barely breathe, but he pushes harder. She groans, exhausted, but Derek keeps going. He asks why she's increasing the number, but he has an answer. If she can't run anymore, they'll move to magic manifestation training. Elente, utterly spent, forces herself to agree. She whispers that she'll run. She's panting, completely out of breath, struggling to keep up with the grueling pace. Derek then asks if she's alright. Elente, with a strange smile, claims she's fine. She even says this is fun. Derek gives her an out, saying giving up is an option if it seems impossible. He watches her closely, waiting. But Elente refuses. She says giving up is never an option for her. She stands firm, despite her obvious fatigue. She even claims this much isn't a workout. But then, she collapses into a chair, completely drained and unable to move. Derek simply looks at her, unblinking. He knows she's reached her limit, but he has another plan. He calmly states that she's rested enough. It's time to spar. Elente is shocked, having just sat down. She asks what he means. She just sat down. Derek's intensity never wavers, his gaze fixed on her. 2 weeks later, the intense training continues. Elente is still pushing herself to the absolute limit. She asks Lady Denise to wake her when Lady Aceline arrives. She's clearly exhausted, barely able to stay awake. Denise agrees to the request. Elente then explains she's been so preoccupied with magic training these days. Later, Elente asks Denise something she's curious about. Denise is reading a book, listening intently. Elente asks why Denise pushes herself so hard. Denise looks up from her book, her expression thoughtful. Denise responds simply, "To win." Elente watches her, taking in the answer. Denise elaborates, saying she pushes herself because she wants to win. It's a clear, unwavering ambition. She then offers Elente a kind smile and words of encouragement. She tells her to hang in there. Denise promises to cheer for Elente. She's supportive, a stark contrast to Derek's harsh training methods. A servant then arrives, announcing Lady Aceline has arrived. Elente looks surprised by the news. Elente hides her face, flustered, as Aceline enters. She's sprawled out, not wanting to be seen. Aceline suggests checking out a new clothing store that just opened. She invites the other ladies to join her. Elente perks up, eager to go. She quickly agrees, trying to act normal and hide her previous state. But then, Elente realizes Aceline has already left. She looks around, confused and relieved. She sighs in relief, glad Aceline didn't see her sprawled on the table. That would have been embarrassing. A maid then comments on Elente's appearance, noting she seems very tired. She looks concerned for her. The maid wonders if Elente is actually okay, observing her exhausted state. She worries about her lady. Later, a maid presents Elente with a gift from House Duplain. Elente's expression darkens immediately. Elente recognizes it's from Lady Aceline. She knows exactly what this means, her anger starting to rise. The maid explains they are all things that help recover mana. She praises their high quality, oblivious. She adds, they'll be a great help to Elente. The maid has no idea the reaction she's about to receive. Elente, with a fierce glare, orders the maid to throw them away. The maid is completely stunned. She asks for pardon, unable to believe what she just heard. Elente's demand is shocking. Elente reiterates coldly, "Throw them all away. Don't let me see them." Her resolve is absolute. The maid, now understanding the severity, agrees. She quickly confirms that she understood the command. Elente then shifts focus, asking about her lesson. She wants to know if Derek is here, ready to train. The maid confirms Derek arrived at dawn and is preparing for her lesson. Elente is all business. Meanwhile, Azeline's letter is shown, wishing the young ladies of Rosea Salon a peaceful day. The letter continues, explaining her territory produce quality goods, which she's sharing with them. Derek waits, reading a book early in the morning. Elente approaches, her face determined. She tells him there's no time for pleasantries, getting straight to the point. Her voice is firm. Elente asks for his assessment. Derek looks up, surprised by her directness and intensity. He says she should know well, as it's been several weeks since training began. He expects her to know. Elente demands honesty. She asks him directly what he thinks of her. She needs a truthful answer. Derek pauses, then suggests giving up is also a good strategy. His words hit Elente hard. Elente is furious. She asks why he keeps offending her that way, her voice trembling with anger. Derek calmly apologizes if it sounded that way, but he doesn't retract his statement. Elente yells, "What? Giving up? Did you ask me that?" Her frustration boils over. She demands to know how. Just how? She screams, her eyes wide with desperation. How can Azeline be beaten? The raw emotion in her voice is undeniable. She reminds him she hired him to win, not to hear him suggest she give up. Her anger is palpable. She tells him to get lost if he's going to talk nonsense, saying he's wasting her time. Derek, unfazed, asks her, "So what if you can't win?" He looks at her without judgment. He explains that obsessing over victory can actually hinder growth. Sometimes, he says, you should humbly accept defeat. Elente, tears streaming down her face, cries that she'd be too pathetic then. She can't bear the thought. She confesses she was just a petty, shameful person who gossiped about Azeline. She hated herself. She recalls being called Belmiad's pillar and Rosea Salon's flower, but insists she's nothing like that. Elente accepts it all. She admits how lacking and pathetic she is, letting her vulnerabilities show. She acknowledges she has no reason to hate Azeline. The realization hits her deeply. Derek simply says, "I know that too." He understands her inner turmoil. Elente, still crying, asks, "But why?" She doesn't understand why this feeling persists. She questions why this petty inferiority complex won't disappear. She's desperate for an answer. A carriage speeds across golden fields, the journey almost over. The horses pull hard, kicking up dust. Suddenly, the carriage lurches to a halt, making the horses whinny loudly. They stomp their hooves. Inside, an older man sits patiently, waiting for the final word. He knows they are close now. A voice confirms it. We've arrived. He opens the door, ready to face whatever awaits him. He steps out, gazing up at a massive, ornate mansion that dominates the landscape. It's truly grand. This is the Belmiard mansion, a place of power and old money. He has returned home. A younger, red-haired man, Count Belmiard, greets him warmly. "Belmir, you've returned from Ebelstein." Velmir bows respectfully to the Count. "I trust you've been well, Count Belmiard," he replies smoothly. The Count invites Belmir to sit, acknowledging his long journey. He leads him to a lavish sitting room. They settle into plush chairs, a small table between them. The Count is eager to talk about someone. "It's been ages since I've seen my treasure, Elente," the Count says, a proud smile on his face. He asks if Elente is doing well in Ebelstein. Velmir confirms she's focusing on magic training there. The Count beams, praising Elente's talent. He believes she will surely surpass even his own ability someday. Velmir agrees, but a secret worry crosses his mind. He can't mention her commoner teacher. That information would not look good for him, or for Lady Elente. He keeps it to himself. The Count then drops a bombshell. He has business in Ebelstein soon. Velmir stiffens, surprised. He proposes a surprise. "What if I go find Elente myself and give her a surprise gift?" he asks. Velmir is caught off guard, stammering his agreement. He wonders if this plan will really be okay. The scene shifts dramatically to a gloomy, ominous entrance. This is the nameless labyrinth, far from Ebelstein. A young woman, Elente, stands before it looking unsure. "I'm still not sure about this," she says nervously. Another person asks if it's truly okay to bring Lady Elente into such a dangerous place. Derek, a stern young man, reassures them. He has a plan and everything will go smoothly. Elente is shocked. "Wait, you're asking me to go into the labyrinth?" "Me?" she asks, wide-eyed. Derek explains it's the lowest-ranked labyrinth nearby. It shouldn't be too difficult for them to handle. Elente still struggles with the idea. "What am I supposed to do once I go in there?" she worries. She asks if it's really okay to just go in like this without proper preparation or gear. Derek tells her she needs to develop her instincts through real combat. This is her training. He assures her that he and his colleagues will accompany her just in case things get out of hand. Elente stares at him, disbelief clear in her eyes. Are you serious? Like, really serious? She asks. Derek explains the sparring match is only a few days away. This method is the best when time is short. He uses magic, a faint blue glow enveloping Elente. It's a shocking moment for her. Elente looks utterly terrified. This is nothing like the magic training she's used to. They enter the labyrinth. The stone floor is damp, the air thick with an eerie silence. Elente struggles with the oppressive atmosphere. It's dark, humid, and unsettling. She feels trapped inside. Derek tells her to stay alert. Even a low-rank labyrinth demands careful attention. Danger lurks everywhere. He senses trouble. Derek, there are several goblins ahead, he warns his companions. Elente gasps. What? Her eyes dart around frantically, searching for the unseen threat. Derek confirms he heard them. They are close. Suddenly, another colleague warns of a big one behind them. An ogre, maybe? The thought alone sends a chill down Elente's spine. This is too much. The burly swordsman, another colleague, asks if he can handle one ogre. He seems confident, but he wants to know how much more he's getting paid for such a dangerous encounter. Derek promises to calculate that after they are done here. His eyes glow with fierce resolve. Monsters emerge from the shadows. Elente stares, horrified. They are real monsters, she cries out. Goblins charge forward, snarling and wielding crude weapons. The fight begins in an instant. Derek dashes into the fray, his sword blazing with blue energy. He moves with deadly precision. He tells Peline, the archer, to cover him. She draws her bow, ready to support their attack. Derek fights relentlessly, magic and blade cutting through goblins. Peline's arrows fly true, piercing enemies. Elente watches, frozen by the brutal reality of combat. Her breath comes in ragged gasps. The swordsman battles the ogre, trading powerful blows. Blood splatters across the dungeon floor. Elente is overwhelmed. What is all this? She realizes they are actually trying to kill her. I could actually die. The thought is terrifying, immediate. She tries to deny it. This can't be real. A goblin rushes towards her. Derek shouts, "One monster is heading towards your direction. Please stay focused." Elente panics, paralyzed by fear. "I'm going to die." The goblin closes in rapidly. Derek screams at her, "You need to kill it, the me so far." He pushes her to fight. Elente collapses, tears streaming down her face. She admits her complete ignorance and foolishness in that moment. She questions why her inferiority complex never goes away. Why? Just what? Her gaze hardens. Her eyes blaze with fierce resolve. She came here to kill her old self and become stronger. This was only the start. A grand arena awaits, bathed in moonlight, a setting for power and skill. But for our guy, Derek, it's just another day, marked by a letter in his hand. He sits against the brick wall, bloodied and tired, lost in the words. The letter is from his old teacher, Kataya Flameheart, a reminder of a past life. She writes about teaching the young lady of Elvester County, a student with immense passion. It keeps her busy, almost overwhelmed, she says. Katia remembers the days teaching Derek in Ebelstein. Those times were difficult, she admits, but also much freer and more enjoyable. Her words praise him, calling him the most talented mage she ever met. She wonders what level he's reached now, eager to see his magic again. Derek, with his white hair and piercing red eyes, holds the letter tightly. He looks tired, but there's a deep focus in his gaze. Katya ends her letter, a promise to see his magic someday. It's signed, your former teacher, Katya Flameheart. The weight of her words hangs in the air. 2 weeks have passed since Derek arrived at this new place. A red-haired girl approaches him, interrupting his thoughts as he finishes reading. She asks what he's reading, her expression curious. Derek, calm as ever, simply tells her it's a letter from his teacher. The girl, Elente, smiles, impressed. Wow, she says. She must be quite an excellent teacher, considering she has the character to teach someone like you. Derek's eyes narrow slightly. She's an excellent teacher indeed, he replies, a hint of something unreadable in his tone. Elente's smile falters slightly, a small ellipsis appearing above her head. She realizes her teasing might have gone too far. I was trying to irritate you, she confesses, a slight blush on her cheeks. Derek looks at her, then back at the letter. With what? He asks, his voice evened. Elente quickly waves her hand. No, never mind, she says, dropping the subject. The duel is only 2 days away. Elente asks Derek how he's feeling about it, a genuine concern in her voice. Derek looks down, contemplating her question. How I'm feeling, huh? He murmurs. I'm not sure. But then, his expression hardens. His eyes glow with a fierce determination. He looks up at Elente, a silent resolve in his gaze. Elente matches his intensity, her own eyes burning with purpose. She takes a deep breath, steeling herself for what's to come. I'll win, she declares, her voice firm and unwavering. There's no doubt in her mind, no hint of hesitation. The day of the duel arrives. Young Lady Elente walks with purpose, her resolve clear. She is absolutely winning, she tells herself. At the Noble District Magic Sparring Arena, the crowd buzzes. Another young lady, Azeline, makes her entrance, elegant and confident. She is beautiful, composed, and ready. Her blue eyes hold a quiet power, a stark contrast to Elente's fiery determination. Azeline spots Derek in the crowd. She approaches him, a polite smile on her face, and greets him warmly. Derek, she says, it's so good to see you. She acknowledges his presence, a slight tilt to her head. He nods in return. It's been a while, young lady, Derek replies, his voice calm, but his eyes still hold that red glow. Iseline mentions the rumors. I heard about it. They say you're helping young Lady Elente with her magic. Derek confirms it. Yes, I'm working with them right now, he states, his gaze steady. He offers no further explanation. Azeline observes him for a moment, a thoughtful look on her face. You're still the same as ever, Derek, she muses. She then asks, surely you haven't been too harsh on young Lady Elente? Her tone is light, but there's an underlying curiosity. Giella mentioned that you were not an ordinary teacher. Azeline adds, a slight smile playing on her lips. Lately, young Lady Elente has looked quite tired as well, Azeline continues, hinting at Derek's intense training methods. Derek remains unfazed. You're concerned about your opponent? He asks, his voice flat, almost challenging. Iseline looks surprised by his directness. You seem confident, she says, a hint of amusement in her voice. Derek's eyes flash. No matter who your opponent is, don't be too careless, he warns, his tone serious and firm. The spectators gossip. So who do you think will win, one asks. Of course, young Lady Azeline, another replies confidently. Unless, a third voice adds, young Lady Elente uses 2-star magic. They pity Elente, noting her tired appearance. Poor young Lady Elente, one says. It feels like she lost so much weight, her face is half her usual size. Iseline makes her way to the arena. She moves with grace and confidence, her dark dress flowing around her. Oh my, it's young Lady Azeline, someone exclaims. The crowd murmurs in admiration as she steps into view. My goodness, how is she so beautiful today as well? Another whispers, captivated by Azeline's presence. Elente also makes her appearance, walking with determined steps. Her eyes are fixed on the arena, her resolve unwavering. I'll win, she whispers to herself, her hand clutching a gem on her chest. I'll win, I'm absolutely winning. Elente takes her place, facing Iseline. The tension is palpable as the two young mages prepare for their duel. Elente greets Iseline, a polite smile on her face. I hope you've been well, young Lady Elente. Azeline returns the sentiment, her own smile composed. I trust you have also been well, she replies. Elente nods. Your composure at all times sets an example for me, she says, acknowledging Azeline's grace. Azeline's expression softens slightly. No, she confesses, surprising Elente with her honesty. I've never felt as nervous before a duel as I do now, Azeline admits, her blue eyes wide with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. Elente's expression shifts to one of understanding. With a determined look, she asks, shall we begin? And just like that, the duel begins. Elente's blue magic flares around her, a swirling aura of power. Azeline responds instantly, her own body igniting with fiery magic. Flames dance around her hands, ready for battle. Elente launches her attack, a powerful wave of blue energy. It's fast, fierce, and aimed directly at Azeline. Azeline is quick, dodging the initial blast. She retaliates with a barrage of fiery spears, sending them hurtling toward Elente. Elente finds herself surrounded, a storm of fire raining down on her. She struggles to defend, the pressure intense. She recalls Derek's harsh training, his words echoing in her mind. She's battered, bruised, but her spirit remains unbroken. Derek's voice cuts through the memory. If it's purely a contest of magic skills, you absolutely can't win. Elente, desperate, asks him, then what do I do? How do I win? How do I win? His answer is simple, yet profound. Willpower. Derek states, his eyes fixed on her. He reminds her of their grueling training, pushing her to her limits. You've trained with me on how to scrape together mana. To your absolute limit, he emphasizes, his face stern. Elente looks at him, a flicker of doubt. Wait, treating me that way wasn't just your sick hobby? She asks. Derek's gaze is unwavering. I have no such hobby, he says, his voice devoid of humor, clarifying his intent. He continues. Once both sides' mana runs dry, the match is decided by willpower rather than skill. Use your magic as lavishly and grandly as possible, Derek instructs, advising her to drain her opponent's reserves. Drag it into a war of attrition by any means, he insists. This isn't about skill, it's about endurance. Once said war ends, whoever can squeeze out one more drop wins, Derek explains, laying out the strategy. But Elente has a fear. But what if Aisline's mana amount is far greater than mine? She asks, vulnerability in her voice. The action intensifies as the story unfolds. 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 She collapses to the ground, utterly spent, panting hard from the intense training. Her body screams in protest. Derek is there, calm as ever, offering a water skin. He watches her with his usual stoic expression. She takes the water, but her mind races. All this effort, all this pain, and still she doubts herself. Can I really beat Azeline? She wonders aloud, a tremor in her voice. The overwhelming task feels truly insurmountable. She questions if a few short weeks of training could ever be enough to overcome such a powerful opponent. Derek's response is simple, unwavering. You will win. His words cut through her fear, but she still feels unsure. He then clarifies, adding a layer of mystery to his statement. You will win in a certain sense, he cryptically adds. Suddenly, the air crackles with intense heat. Her eyes snap open, a chilling realization dawning on her. The observers gasp, pointing towards a massive, swirling orb of fire. It's not just any magic, it's a 2-star spell. She stares, wide-eyed, at the colossal fireball hurtling towards her. This is far beyond what she was prepared for. That's a fireball, she screams, pure terror in her voice. This wasn't part of their plan, not part of the expectation. She whips her head around, searching for Derek, desperate for guidance. What's this? What do I do? She demands. Derek remains silent, his expression unreadable. He offers no immediate answers, only a watchful, steady stillness. Frustration boils over. She screams at him, calling him a fraud, demanding something useful, anything to help. The fireball looms larger, closer. Her heart pounds, a frantic drum against her ribs. There's no escape now. She frantically considers her options. Protective magic? An ice spear? Nothing feels strong enough for a 2-star spell. It won't work, she thinks, despair washing over her. The realization hits, it's impossible to defeat Azeline. Azeline, the source of the devastating spell, looks focused, a calm intensity in her gaze as her magic takes form. Elente braces herself, thinking, someone like me. The fireball finally strikes, engulfing her in a fiery explosion. The impact sends her flying, a ragdoll tossed by an unseen, violent force. Debris showers around the arena. She crashes hard onto the ground, but with a surge of adrenaline, she pushes herself up, gasping for air. Iseline watches, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. Lady Elente, dodged that? She murmurs, clearly impressed. What surprises Azeline more is the method Elente used. It's the exact same technique Azeline herself had only shown once. Derek observes the scene, his mind dissecting the battle. He notes Azeline's lack of experience with 2-star magic. He understands that such a powerful spell, wielded by someone inexperienced, quickly becomes a mana-devouring monster. Azeline clenches her fist, a subtle sign of her struggle. Derek realizes Azeline recognized Elente's effort and talent. He understands Azeline is going all out, not to crush, but as a show of respect and courtesy for Elente's hard work. A glimmer of understanding crosses Elente's face. She smiles, finally grasping Derek's strategy, his true intention. I understand what you were thinking, Derek, she whispers, a newfound resolve hardening her gaze. She knows her path to victory now. If I can endure this, she proclaims, I'll win. The battle is far from over. Another fireball erupts from Iseline's hands, striking Elente. She cries out, straining against the immense magical force. The observers are aghast. Another fireball? They exclaim, barely believing their eyes at Iseline's relentless assault. They notice the new fireball is much faster than the previous one, showing Azeline's increasing intensity. Elente scrambles, barely dodging the blazing projectile as it scorches the ground where she stood moments before. She's thrown into the air, twisting and flipping to evade the relentless magical onslaught, her body pushed to its limits. The fireball explodes around her, a blinding flash of light and heat. Elente falls, seemingly defeated once more. Aisling looks on, a mix of exhaustion and concern etched on her face. She's pushing herself to the brink as well. But Elente isn't giving up. Mid-air, she prepares her own attack, an ice spear forming in her hand. She strategizes, believing Azeline won't be able to predict the trajectory of her attack if she strikes now. A protective barrier would only waste her precious mana. She must attack directly, with everything she has left. Elente unleashes the ice spear, a sharp, piercing blast of magic. What will you do now, Azeline? She challenges. Azeline is on one knee, utterly drained, unable to cast a proper defensive spell. The ice spear races towards her. Derek narrates, explaining Azeline's state. She used only a simple magic manifestation, not a protective spell. Azeline had completely depleted her mana, casting 2 fireballs and maintaining control over their complex trajectories. Elente lands, feeling a surge of triumph. Her plan worked. She has Azeline cornered, vulnerable. Azeline is still on the ground, panting hard, clearly exhausted. Derek watches, stating, it'll be over soon for her. Elente grins, confident in her victory. It worked. I've cornered Azeline, she declares, elated. She's certain Aceline has no mana left. Her own mana reserves are low, but enough for a few more small spells. My mana. I can still cast Magic Arrow or Ice Spear, at least 2 more times, she thinks, calculating her advantage. That's more than enough, she proclaims, her voice ringing with conviction. She's won. She has truly defeated Aceline. But then, something impossible happens. From the ground, Aislinn raises her hand, another fireball forming. Elente's eyes widen in utter disbelief. How could Aislinn still have mana? How could she launch another attack? Aislinn unleashes a barrage of smaller, rapid-fire projectiles. Elente is caught off guard, unable to react in time. The magical blasts hit Elente, sending her reeling. She looks stunned, unable to comprehend what just happened. Aislinn is barely conscious, struggling on the ground. Please, just one more time, she pleads, pushing past her limits. She desperately tries to gather what little mana remains, a faint blue glow flickering around her hands. If I just do a bit more, she thinks, her resolve unwavering despite her body screaming in protest. Elente stares at her opponent, dumbfounded, a single drop of sweat tracing down her face. She cannot believe what she sees. Aislinn's eye, filled with tears and fierce determination, reflects an impossible will to continue fighting and endure. This was only the beginning. The real storm hasn't hit yet. What happens next changes everything, and nobody sees it coming. Aislinn Eleanor Duplain is truly the most noble lady around. No one in Ebelstein can compare to her grace and poise. But where there's light, there's always a shadow. And that shadow? That's where I always stood. People whisper behind my back, just like they do for everyone else. What makes me think I'm any different? They tell me to turn around, to throw a pathetic, frantic tantrum. But Aislinn, she's a gem. She shines brighter the more they try to cut her down. And me? I'm cast down, obscured by that light. I'm sinking into an abyss of inferiority. Even in that deep place, I sharpened my blade. It was a promise. I swore that someday, I would truly become a better person than her and prove myself. I will escape. I will escape this endlessly hollow abyss. Aislinn, the noble and beautiful one, stands there, radiating light. Meanwhile, I'm disheveled, hair messy and covered in dust. It's a stark contrast between us now. Even after rolling on the ground in front of everyone, she still manages to look pristine. It's infuriating. How can she make a face like that? I guess she doesn't have an image of herself that she needs to protect. My eyes narrow, watching her carefully. The crowd cheers. Lady Aislinn, hang in there, you can do it. They shout, get up. This is it. Derek tells me I will win, his voice firm and reassuring. But even if I win this fight, in the end, I'll just be stuck here. I know it deep down. I'll just go back to that miserable place again. This feeling of being trapped won't vanish. Then I run out of mana. My magic fades, leaving me vulnerable. Oh dear. Pardon? I can't believe it. As expected, I'm no match for Lady Aislinn. My efforts fall short. It's my defeat. She says it was a good sparring session, a polite dismissal. The crowd goes wild, cheering for Aislinn. Lady Aislinn was so cool. Everyone praises her, their voices echoing. This spa was incredible. Aislinn looks pleased, accepting their adulation. I stand there staring at her, a complex mix of emotions. She looks so beautiful, even after our intense battle. It's a perfection I resent and admire. Well, did you see it clearly? Derek asks me later, a hint of curiosity in his voice. Yes, I tell him, a small smile forming. You're surprised, aren't you? I'm someone who knows how to admit defeat too. You should have seen Aislinn's face, I continue, a mischievous glint in my eye. Her eyes got so wide. Her face couldn't have expressed, you're forfeiting here any more clearly. I laugh, remembering the moment. Even the always composed Aislinn can make a face like that, huh? It's a small victory for me. It was such a sight to behold. I got to see something like that thanks to you. I nod at him. Thanks. I even got to feel this sense of superiority over Aislinn, I confess. I feel so great today. So, how was I ask, looking for his honest opinion. The ending was a bit of a shame. But I wasn't bad, right? I'm a pretty fast learner, aren't I? I want his validation. Don't try to find fault for no reason, I add, anticipating criticism. Huh? He just smiles. Derek tells me I did well. His words simple but impactful. It's a rare compliment from him. To be honest, I wanted to win, I admit, the truth escaping me. But you know, as I was about to end it, I saw something. I trail off, remembering the vision during the fight. It was a powerful realization. Even if I were to win, I'd still be in the same place, I explain, the weight of it heavy. I'd just go back to that miserable place again. The thought haunts me, a cycle I can't break. I realized that's just the kind of person I am. It's a harsh truth, but I faced it. Even in the midst of all that, Aceline looked noble. Her composure was unwavering even then. I guess I'm superior to Aceline in one thing, my inferiority complex. It's a bitter, ironic thought. I'm not any different, I conclude, feeling a deep sense of resignation. The gap between us remains. Derek then asks, "What does it matter if you look a little pathetic?" His question cuts through my self-pity. If you don't have the courage to look pathetic, you can't get any better. His words are a revelation. At least I didn't get stuck today, I think. A flicker of hope returning. Maybe this is progress. "We'll be going now, Lady Azaline," her companions announce, preparing to depart. The spar is truly over. Today's spar was exhilarating. Azaline replies, her voice calm and composed as ever. "Thank you." Lady Denise approaches, smiling. "Lady Azaline, you've achieved another accomplishment." Her praise is genuine. "I felt goosebumps all over my body the whole time while watching the spa," Denise adds, clearly impressed. My heart sinks a little. "Lady Denise, you know, don't you?" I ask, my voice barely a whisper, "that I didn't win this sparring match." The truth is undeniable, despite Azaline's polite forfeiture. Denise looks at me with an unreadable expression. "In terms of magic capacity, I think you are far superior." My eyes widen. "No," I protest, shaking my head. "It can't be true. I refuse to believe it. Not enough to more than offset that difference in capacity," I insist, still focused on Azaline's overall grace. "Lady Elente was ahead of me in every way," Denise corrects me, her tone firm. It's a stunning statement. To be able to advance that much in such a short time, Denise looks genuinely amazed at my growth. I'm stunned, unable to process her words fully. Is it true? Have I really grown that much? Daisy, my maid, approaches. "Yes, my lady?" she asks, ready for my instructions. "I have a new resolve. I must send a letter to the main house," I state, a new purpose forming within me. This changes things. I look towards the horizon, a determined glint in my eyes. My journey is just beginning. I need Derek, his support, his belief in me. He's essential for what comes next. Derek looks at me, his red eyes piercing. He sees the struggle, the determination, the nascent strength. My tears fall, a mix of frustration and dawning hope. He watches, his expression unreadable yet present. I wanted to win so badly, the desire still burns. But his words offered a different kind of victory. He stands there, a silent pillar. I'm on the ground, overwhelmed but not broken, not anymore. His gaze is steady, waiting. I cover my face, processing everything. The world feels different now. I saw it clearly, what he meant. What it meant to be truly better, not just win. Even if I won, I would still be trapped by my own shadows, my own feelings of inadequacy. But he showed me a path out, a way to grow, to truly advance, beyond mere victory. He taught me that showing vulnerability, looking pathetic, is not weakness. It's the first step. The first step towards courage. The first step towards real change. The first step to becoming stronger. My hands are shaking, my eyes wide with a new understanding. This feeling is exhilarating, terrifying. This was only the beginning. The real storm hasn't hit yet, and I'm ready to face it. An important official discusses a 6-star travel pass belonging to Dressed Wolftail. He questions its presence in Ebelstein right now. He connects it to a customs agreement moved up earlier than planned. It's likely a direct response to Dresst's mysterious movements. The official also notes the Count of Belmiard's sudden visit to Ebelstein. He believes this is also tied to Dresst's actions. He speculates on Dresst's identity, someone at the pinnacle of searching arts. This person possesses a rare and powerful foresight ability. A cloaked figure with a staff stands against a backdrop of gears. This is Dressed Wolftail, a master of his craft. The official concludes there must be a significant reason. Dressed Wolftail's presence always signals something big is coming. His daughter, Aislinn, interrupts. She reveals a letter arrived from Aislinn, requesting a magic teacher for her. She specifically asks for Derek. But there's a problem, and it's a big one for their plans. Derek is currently at the Belmiard estate. He's busy teaching magic to Lady Elente, making him unavailable. The official considers sending his butler to lead negotiations. He wants to actively pursue securing Derek's services. But then, the official changes his mind. He decides he will handle it personally. He's going to Belmiard. At the Belmiard estate, Lady Elente takes a break. The long winter is finally coming to an end, she observes. She turns to Derek, her magic teacher. Elente comments on how long the winter felt for everyone present. She asks Derek if he'll come, if she calls him again. She wants him to continue teaching her magic. Derek replies with uncharacteristic humility. He's not sure if there's anything left for him to teach her anymore. Elente wonders about his sudden modesty. She's used to his straightforward nature, so this is new. Derek then leaves the estate. Elente watches him go, a subtle sadness showing on her face as he departs. He arrives back home, greeted by his father and a blonde woman. They wait for him, clearly concerned. His father asks what happened during his absence. Derek looks tired, bandages visible on his face and hands. Derek reveals he almost died. He attempted a 3-star spell while hunting goblins, a reckless move. He felt a strange incongruity mid-spell. It was a familiar feeling, just like when he first reached 2-star rank. His father advises him not to force his progress. He reminds Derek of their school's philosophy, a natural flow. The father then states that such advice usually doesn't work for mages like Derek. He knows his son's unique talents. He couldn't feel any mana from Derek. This is strange, considering Derek's known power and reputation. But the person standing before his eyes is undeniable. He recognizes the true strength within Derek. Derek is the first and greatest 6-star search-type mage. His father knows this power firsthand, a rare sight. Dressed, now revealed as Derek's father, asks for alcohol. The fatigue from his travels has piled up significantly. Back at Belmyard, Elente is resting. She wants no lessons today, hoping for a peaceful break from training. Her maid arrives, interrupting her rest. She needs to come out and see who has arrived unexpectedly. Elente is annoyed, asking why. She told her maid to say she wasn't there, wanting to avoid visitors. She asks if the maid didn't hear her. Elente insists that from today she is completely off duty for lessons. But it's her father, the Count of Belmyard. He greets her with a wide smile, delighted to see her. He calls her his pride, his jewel, his treasure. His affection for Elente is clear and overflowing. Elente is stunned. She wonders why her father is here, knowing his visit must be important. She quickly changes her clothes. Her father waits patiently, still beaming with pride at his daughter. He comments on the Lady of Duplain, Aceline. She was surely not an easy opponent in their recent dealings. Elente confirms she learned a lot from her. This hints at the intensity of their past interactions or negotiations. Her father then suggests if that mercenary fellow, Derek, teaches so well, they should keep him exclusively. He wants Derek to stay at Belmyard permanently. This would prevent others from hiring his exceptional talent. Elente worries the vassals will oppose this decision. Such an exclusive arrangement could cause political friction. Her father laughs off her concerns. He asks if there's anything he wouldn't do for his beloved daughter. He tells her to just trust him. Elente looks at him, reassured by his unwavering dedication and love. Meanwhile, Aceline is training under the moonlight. Blue magic swirls around her as she pushes her limits. She's clearly struggling, gritting her teeth in concentration. The magic flares around her, intense but unstable. She manages to conjure several blue spears. Her efforts are visible, but the strain on her face is clear. Aceline looks frustrated. She screams in annoyance. This constant struggle is clearly wearing her down. The butler arrives, observing her training. He comments that her temper is exactly the same, unchanged by time. Aceline is defensive, asking when he arrived. She attributes her success in conjuring the spears to her own skill. She insists it's because she's good, not Derek. She dismisses any credit given to him for her progress. She questions what that selfish fellow Derek has to do with it. Her pride is clearly wounded by the suggestion. The butler then reveals some shocking news. Aceline is planning to hire Derek as her magic teacher. Aceline reacts with disbelief and fury. She screams, worried she'll be treated the same way Elente was. The butler corrects her, telling her not to misunderstand Derek. He implies Derek's teaching methods are effective. He mentions a rumor he heard at a recent ball. Derek's name is clearly spreading to high society. Lady Elente also wants to keep employing Derek. This news further complicates Aceline's own plans for him. Aceline is completely baffled. She wonders why that guy, Derek, is suddenly so incredibly popular everywhere. The butler explains Derek turned a rascal like Aceline into a human being. This explains his widespread appeal. Aceline is deeply offended by the rascal comment. She protests, but the butler calmly stands his ground. She admits she was a rascal once. This is a rare moment of self-awareness for the usually fiery Aceline. The butler suggests it would be better if Derek chose Aceline. This way, she might get to see him more often. Aceline blushes furiously, denying any desire to see him. She insists she doesn't want that kind of guy around. The butler smiles, taking her word for it. He knows her true feelings, despite her strong denials. He observes that rumors about Derek must have spread quite a bit by now. His reputation is growing fast. Aiseline, now alone, looks troubled. Her thoughts are clearly focused on Derek and the new competition. She hopes the number of competitors for Derek doesn't increase further. She wants him all to herself. She sits quietly, an apple in her hand. Her expression is serious, contemplating the growing challenge ahead. The political maneuvering for Derek's talent grows intense. Everyone wants the legendary 6-star search type mage. 2 powerful houses are now vying for his exclusive services. The tension is palpable, and something has to give. Aisline's desire to secure Derek becomes a desperate race. The stakes are rising, and she feels the pressure. What happens next changes everything. The fight for Derek's loyalty has only just begun, and it will be brutal. A young mage, Derek, stands quietly as an older man, dressed wolftail, drinks deeply from a wooden mug. The old man watches him closely. Dressed puts down his drink and calls out Derek's name, recognition in his voice. He looks deeply troubled by something. Derek, with striking red eyes, turns to face the old man. He seems startled by Dressed knowing who he is. Dressed questions why a mage of Derek's incredible caliber is working in such a place. He can't believe his eyes. Derek confirms his name, Derek. He's surprised this powerful mage knows him, wondering what this encounter means. Dress asks if they can speak for a moment, just the two of them. He has something important to say. Derek looks at him, thoughtful, a silent question in his gaze. He doesn't seem to mind the request. They walk together through the city streets at night. Dress tells Derek his magic talent is far too ambiguous right now. He explains that Derek's skills are quite outstanding. He's never seen anything quite like it before. Derek listens intently, his expression unreadable. He's absorbing every word, wondering where this is going. Dressed asks him directly why he's working so hard. What does he hope to achieve by learning magic? Derek responds, saying he doesn't have any grand ambitions. He's simply curious to see how far he can go. He just feels that since he's grasped even a thread of talent, he has to explore its full potential. Dressed looks at him with a knowing gaze. He says that as a commoner, Derek is a bit lacking if he dreams of higher realms. Then Dress offers to help him. He asks if it would be alright if he became Derek's instructor. Derek is stunned. He thinks about Dressed Wolftail, a legendary 6-star mage. This is a huge opportunity. He recalls Dressed's past. Born a commoner, Dressed reached 2-star by adulthood and 3-star when he started a family. Dressed became a spiritual pillar for all commoners, and his village turned into an ivory tower for commoner mages. But then, the year Dressed became a 4-star mage, everything changed. A dark, rainy night descends. Rain pours down as a shadowy figure approaches a humble home. The atmosphere is tense and foreboding. Inside the house, a man looks at the bodies on the floor. He's absolutely horrified by the scene before him. He lost his family. His grief is immense, and his face contorts in a silent scream of pain. Years later, a group of nobles discuss Dressed. They wonder if the Dressed fellow has calmed down a bit. A count confirms Dressed has gone into hiding, and the arrogant commoner mages have quieted down as well. He calls them vulgar, getting scared and tucking their tails so easily. He mocks their ambition. Another noble agrees, wondering why commoners are so greedy for magic in the first place. They are dismissive. The count declares that if Dressed ever shows his face again, he'll deal with him. He won't tolerate it. Suddenly, a hooded figure appears, striking down the count's associate. Blood splatters, and the count is shocked. The count screams Dressed's name in horror. He can't believe Dressed is here, seeking revenge. Dressed lunges, his movement swift and deadly. The count tries to back away, but it's no use. Dressed attacks again, a green glow around his hand. The count falls, clutching his bleeding chest. The count screams in terror, begging Dressed to spare him. He's sorry, so incredibly sorry for his past actions. He pleads for his life, but Dressed shows no mercy. He delivers a final, brutal blow. The count collapses, lifeless. Dressed stands over him, his revenge complete. The room is silent. After that, for 30 long years, Dressed lived on the run, hunted by the imperial family and the nobility. But when Dressed surpassed the 5-star realm and became a 6-star mage, the imperial family realized something important. They understood that if they kept Dressed as an enemy, the entire kingdom would be in grave danger. The imperial family acknowledged that Dressed's revenge was justified. They protected their own authority by granting him a noble title. Thus, Dressed became a man who received nobility solely through his magic prowess. He was a legend. Derek thinks about Dressed's offer. He realizes he can be taught by such a man. There's no reason to refuse this chance. He looks determined, his red eyes glowing. He accepts Dress' offer, ready to embrace his new path. At the Edelstein Noble District, inside the Cleon Hall Central Conference Room, nobles are gathered for a meeting. Grand Duke Duplain discusses expanding north of the Belcos Peninsula. He's ambitious, ready for new ventures. Grand Duke Veltus warns Duplain to be careful of the labyrinths in the White Zone. It's a dangerous area. Veltus adds that if necessary, he can dispatch his knights to assist Duplain. He offers his aid. Duplain dismisses Veltus's offer, asking if the knights he speaks of are those lowly mercenaries. He clearly looks down on them. Veltus smirks, his eyes glowing with purple magic. He says it must be difficult to manage such a vast territory with only private soldiers. He suggests that giving up the territory is also an option. His words are laced with condescension, a power play. Duplain's face tightens, blue magic flaring around him. He's clearly annoyed by Veltus's provocation. Another noble interjects, saying the meeting is mostly wrapped up. He tries to ease the tension in the room. He suggests they go see their children's faces now. He mentions Elente, who fought on par with Iselane. He acknowledges that Elente unfortunately lost, but her talent is finally blooming. He sounds proud of her progress. He adds that with a bit more training from a good instructor, Elente will surely surpass Lady Iselane. Another noble, with glasses, smiles and agrees. He then clarifies, "Right, an instructor, you mean Derek." Duplain looks displeased. He thinks that if Derek became Iselane's instructor, Elente would never be able to surpass her. He wonders if such a thing would ever happen, since Derek's bond with Elente is quite deep. Veltus scoffs, saying, Duplain hasn't grasped Derek's character at all. He doesn't believe Derek moves based on personal ties. Veltus looks thoughtful, a dangerous glint in his eyes. He wonders who this Derek is, that these two are so desperate to get him. He decides he should tell Denise to look into him. He wants to know everything about this mysterious mage. Meanwhile, the Count from the earlier meeting arrives at the Belden's Terror Mercenary Corps, looking for Derek. He announces his presence, stating he's come in person since his head butler's letter received no reply. The mercenary commander, a burly man, apologizes, but says Derek has been missing for a few days. He explains they've been asking around and searching for him too. Derek seems to have vanished completely. A few days ago, Derek said he was refusing all requests, and then he simply vanished without a trace. The Count is shocked. He wonders if Duplain has already snatched Derek up, or perhaps Veltus. He realizes there's no information about either of them having him. He decides he'll have to find Derek himself. At the outskirts of Edelstein, inside Grand Duke Veltus's residence, Lady Iselane receives an urgent letter. The old mage sits across from the young boy, teaching him about mana. He guides him to close his eyes and release his power. The boy concentrates, mana swirling around him like a fine mist. He feels it touching objects, bouncing back. This is the very foundation of search-type magic, the mage explains. It's the first step on a long, dangerous path. At 1 star, it's simple threat detection. Nothing too complex, just basic awareness of what's around. But the levels quickly climb. At 2 star, you can track locations and detect other magic users nearby. Then at 3 star, your vision sharpens. You can pierce through disguises, seeing people for who they truly are. And at 4 star, it gets even more intense. You can see right through your opponent, anticipating every move. The mage pauses, his gaze serious. He's seen a lot, and his next words hold heavy weight. At 5 star, you can read minds. And something even rarer, you can communicate with the dead. The boy listens intently, his eyes wide. The possibilities of such power are almost overwhelming to imagine. But the ultimate level, the mage reveals, is 6 star. That's when you gain the ability to see the future. See the future? The boy repeats, his voice barely a whisper. This is a power beyond anything he's known. That's right, the mage confirms. He saw the future, and that's why he came all this way to find the boy. He needs him. The words hang in the air, a heavy truth. The boy wonders what future the mage saw. What exactly is going to happen to him? The boy asks, a sense of dread creeping into his voice. The mage looks at him, his expression grim. He knows things the boy can't even begin to guess at. You know of a man named Valerian, don't you? He asks, shifting the conversation to a new, unsettling topic. The boy nods, recognizing the name. Valerian is the eldest son of House Duplain, a powerful family. Before the boy reaches adulthood, Valerian will dabble in necromancy, the mage reveals, his voice dark. He will become a grave threat, a terrible force. The mage's eyes narrow, signaling the danger ahead. That's why. The mage states, his face hardening. The future he saw is one of great peril for the boy. He stands up, his shadow looming over the boy. The gravity of his words becomes almost unbearable. You must kill him, the mage declares. The command is absolute, leaving no room for doubt or hesitation. The boy's eyes snap open, crimson with shock. Kill him? The thought is too much, too sudden to process. He stares at the mage, utterly stunned. The weight of this burden, this terrible task, settles upon him. Why would Valerian dabble in necromancy? What exactly is he planning? The boy demands, seeking answers. The mage shakes his head. He can't tell him more details. The future is a fragile thing, easily changed. If you learn everything recklessly, the mage explains, the days ahead will become even more unpredictable. It will change in complex ways, making it impossible to foresee. Some knowledge is simply too dangerous to have. But there is one more thing the mage can tell him. A truth that cuts deeper than any other revelation. It's that you are destined to die. The words hit like a blow, leaving the boy reeling in their wake. The boy looks at him, a strange calm on his face. He doesn't seem very surprised by this dark prophecy. You said I was destined to die, he points out. You didn't say that I would definitely die, did you? The mage nods, acknowledging the distinction. Correct, he says. And I do not wish for you to die either. You must not die, so I will make it so that you don't. The mage's resolve is firm, his promise clear. He rises, a green glow emanating from his hand. To survive, you'll have to become strong, he tells the boy. Overwhelmingly so. The mage demonstrates his power, a brilliant burst of magic erupting from his hand. Light fills the cavern, raw energy swirling around him. He is a master of magic, a force to be reckoned with. He moves with purpose, summoning more power. The air crackles with energy, a testament to his immense skill. The boy watches, mesmerized. This is what strength looks like, what he must become to defy his fate. Days later, in a bustling town, a carriage pulls up. Lady Denise steps out, her maid Bella beside her. Denise decides to walk the rest of the way, telling Bella to stay and rest. She wants to enjoy the day. Yes, my lady, Bella replies, a hint of exasperation in her tone. She knows Denise well, perhaps too well. Denise walks through the streets, confident and elegant. But she notices something, a collective gaze from the townsfolk. Bella, why is everyone staring at me? She asks, clearly fishing for a compliment. Her vanity is quite apparent. Bella, ever the pragmatist, just gives a look. She's not about to feed into Denise's self-absorption right now. Could it be because I'm pretty? Denise asks, her eyes sparkling with self-admiration. She fully expects agreement. Bella sighs. My lady, your room is messy, you barely wash, and you just lie around reading books. Your usual self is quite a sight, but, Bella adds, you're even worse when you're like this, so full of yourself. Oh my Bella, you're so good at joking, Denise laughs, completely missing the sarcasm. She thinks it's a jest. I wasn't joking, Bella replies flatly. She's tired of Denise's antics, but remains dutifully by her side. Shouldn't we hurry a bit? Denise asks, suddenly focused. She's on a mission, and time is of the essence. If another house takes that man named Derek, she worries. He's the mercenary she's been searching for. Don't worry, Bella. No matter how slow I am, I'm still faster than the others, Denise says with a smirk. You're always late preparing for lessons, though, Bella retorts, reminding Denise of her usual lack of punctuality. That mercenary, you said he rejected all requests and went into hiding? Denise asks, deep in thought. He's not someone who hates money, so why? She wonders. Something more important than money must have appeared. Did you even hear me? Bella asks, frustrated. Denise is clearly distracted, piecing together a complex puzzle. Did something more important than money appear? Denise muses. For someone with his magic level, it must be magic itself. He either found a great grimoire, a powerful spellbook, or he found a great teacher, a master mage. If that's the case, he wouldn't have time for mercenary work, Denise reasons, so of course he'd reject requests. But that mercenary left the Duplain mansion of his own accord, didn't he? She remembers a key detail. There's no better place to train in magic than the Duplain mansion, she thinks. So he must have found something better. Which means that you would need to bring in a 6-star mage to pique his interest, she concludes, a revelation dawning. I also just happened to know that a 6-star mage was coming to Ebelstein, she adds, a sly smile forming. I just took a shot in the dark, and that old man fell for it beautifully. Denise beams, proud of her cleverness. Could it be that I'm smart? She asks, almost genuinely surprised by her own deduction. Bella looks unimpressed. You never really use your brain, so I'm not sure, Bella replies bluntly. She's not holding back today. Oh my Bella, you're so witty today, Denise says, trying to deflect. She's not used to such directness. I'm just being objective, Bella states, her expression unchanging. She won't let Denise off the hook easily. Sigh. I'm exhausted, Denise says, dramatically leaning back. From being so capable, she adds with a wink. I want to be incompetent, Bella. Do you actually enjoy me talking back to you? She challenges her maid. What? You always only see my pretty side, Denise says, still fishing for compliments. She's relentless. You really never listen to a word I say, Bella sighs. It's a familiar dance between them, full of witty banter. But even if we find him first, will we be able to recruit him? Bella asks, getting back to the mission. I heard even the great Duplain and Belmiard are after him, she adds. The competition for Derek is fierce. Oh, Bella, that's the easiest part, Denise says, a confident smirk on her face. She has a foolproof plan. I have a plan, you know. What kind of plan? A honey trap. She's determined to make him hers. She finds him. Lady Denise stands in the cave with her maid, and the guy she's been looking for is right there. Derek. Derek confirms it. That's his name, yes. He's cold, composed, those red eyes giving nothing away. Denise breaks into a smile. What a relief. She came all this way just to meet him, and it actually worked. She lifts her skirt, steps forward, and delivers her line. She wanted a conversation with him, even if it had to be here. Her maid is mortified. Denise is doing her dramatic noble lady act, full theatrical tone, in a cave of all places. Denise leans in close, way too close. She can feel his breath. Her maid is internally screaming. She lifts her skirt to show her legs, completely drenched. Her dress is soaked through from the cave water, and she acts like it's nothing. Her face up close is all confidence. She's doing this on purpose, using every trick she has to get a reaction out of him. Her maid stifles a laugh, hiding her face. Even she can't keep it together watching Denise go full charm mode. Denise smiles to herself. His heart must be racing. She's that close. He won't be able to say no, right? Derek just pulls his hand back. No reaction. His face is completely flat, like she isn't even there. She blinks. Her plan worked. Or did it? He accepted her hand, but his expression hasn't moved a single inch. Denise keeps pushing. She's heard he's an incredible warrior and instructor. She'd be so happy if he'd teach her. Her maid gives a thumbs up from the side, eyes closed, barely containing herself. This woman is truly something else. Derek cuts right through it. Why are you speaking in such a theatrical tone, he asks. Are you rehearsing for a play? They stand face to face in the open. Denise facing him, a rain of tension between them. The maid watches from a distance. He calls it out directly. She says she wants to be taught by him, but her mana control, her technique, none of it lines up. Denise's eyes go wide. She didn't expect him to just say it like that. No softening, no hesitation. She grabs his cloak with both hands. Please, she says, please, save me. Her voice cracks. It's not an act this time. She watched the duel between Lady Aceline and Lady Alente, and something shifted inside her. As one of the Rosea trio, she felt it. She was falling behind. He steps back and gently removes her hands from his cloak. Clean, no fuss, no emotion. Just, no. She stumbles back a step, stunned. He just pushed her away like it was nothing. Her maid watches, frozen. He tells her plainly she has strong raw mana, but she clearly never trains. Don't speak of sincerity with lies. She stares at him, the words landing hard. He sees right through the act, through everything she prepared. Denise looks shaken. Actually shaken, not the performed version. She doesn't know what to say next. Her maid watches, giving nothing but a quiet thumbs up. Even she knows this is going badly. He doesn't know why she needs him, he says. But it doesn't seem to be for magic. And he walks away. He just walks. Doesn't look back, doesn't explain. Cloak trailing behind him in the dark cave. Denise stands in the rain, alone, staring ahead. She has to win him over. She has to, and fast. She sits by the fire that night, knees pulled to her chest, still in that dress, still soaked. Her maid worries beside her. If she goes back now, another house will take him. She has to do this. She tells herself that again, quietly. Her maid sighs and heads off. Don't push yourself too hard, she says. The maid already knows she absolutely will. Denise smiles at the fire, soft and real for once. She's going to do this. She's already made up her mind. The next day breaks over the mountain. The sun rises over the cave entrance, clean and bright. A new attempt begins. Derek is in the cave, sitting cross-legged, eyes closed. He's deep in training, completely still, focused inward. Then, a noise. Denise is back, stomping down the cave path with a big wooden crate, struggling with every step. She opens the crate in front of him. Bread, potions, Mana crystals, scrolls, supplies. She packed everything. He stares at it. "What is all this?" he asks. His voice is flat, not impressed, just genuinely confused. She sits down across from him, eyes closed, satisfied smile, ribbon in her hair. She brought it so he can focus on training. He stares at her. She stares back. Well, eyes closed, still smiling. She says she'll assist him from the side. He's clearly annoyed. "That won't change anything," he says. "It's okay," she says. She doesn't mind. She tilts her head, that little dangerous smile creeping in. She tells him, if he wonders at all about tomorrow, then that's enough. He watches her, expression unreadable. She's not begging anymore. She's just there, settled, calm. He picks up the bread and eats it. No ceremony, no comment, just accepts it without a word. She lights up. He took the bread. He actually took it. Her whole face shifts into something real and bright. But then she brings out the real thing. A giant glowing mana crystal strapped to her back. She hauled that thing all the way here. She walks over, huge crystal on her back, grinning, and he tells her, "You can give it here." He actually lets her hand it over. She kneels down, handing over the crystal, and inside she's absolutely falling apart with excitement. He accepted it. Then she pushes further. She even brought the head chef, Derek, a full meal prepared fresh just for him. He gets a single word back. "Thanks, that's all." But Denise looks like she won something enormous. Then she internally snaps. That selfish exploiter. She's being this nice and he won't even act a little swayed. He grabs the crystal and says, "You can give it here." And she passes it, beaming, trying not to explode with happiness. She hands it over with both arms and her whole chest, literally shaking, trying to contain herself. He just takes it. Denise turns and punches a tree, full force, knuckles into bark. Her maid comes running. "Lady Denise, what is happening?" She tells her maid. She has to win him over. If she goes back, another noble house will just swoop in and take him. Her maid sprints in from outside, massive pack on her back, completely overloaded. She's been doing supply runs this whole time. Then Denise spots something. A group coming through the forest. Maids, guards, a butler. A whole formal household procession. She and her maid peek from behind a rock as the group passes. "Are they going to war or something?" Denise whispers. The head butler of House Duplan walks into the cave. Formal suit, monocle, white gloves. He's here for Derek too. Derek reads the letter the butler presents. Cool, relaxed. Reads it like it's nothing. Red eyes scanning the page. Denise watches from behind a pillar, hiding, barely breathing. Her maid has a hand over her mouth, keeping her quiet. The butler makes the offer to become Lady Aisline's magic instructor. "It would be an honor," the butler says. Derek folds the letter. His face is unreadable, those red eyes giving nothing away at all as he weighs the offer. Denise grabs the pillar, eyes wide, breath held. If he says yes right now, it's over. Everything she worked for, gone. He opens his mouth. The cave goes dead silent. Whatever he says next, it changes everything, and nobody is ready for it. Two formal figures stand before the young mage, offering him a prestigious role as magic teacher for Lady Aisline. He holds the formal letter, his gaze sharp and focused, then accepts the prestigious role with a respectful bow. Lady Aisline watches, her bright eyes wide with excitement. For her, this appointment is truly a profound honor. But then, everything suddenly changes. He abruptly refuses to leave with them, shocking Lady Aisline and her attendant. He calmly states that he must first finish his own training, and he is unsure when that will even happen. The elderly butler, sensing the refusal, quickly offers to increase the payment significantly, hoping to sway the young mage. But the mage remains firm. He looks up, his expression unyielding, and simply states, "I'm sorry." Lady Aisling shrinks back, her initial joy turning to disappointment. The weight of his refusal clearly affects her. He explains his reasoning. At his current level, he feels he cannot be of much help. He won't teach half-heartedly. Aisling is left speechless, her expression a mix of sadness and understanding. She just stares blankly ahead. Later, back at her mansion, Aisling seems distant. Her attendant asks if she found out where Derek is. She confirms the news, explaining that the head butler went to see him personally just the evening before. Aisling expresses frustration, wishing they had told her sooner. She was planning to ask him about it herself. Suddenly, her mood shifts dramatically. She declares she must go now and orders the swiftest soldiers to gather immediately. Her attendant questions the decision, reminding Aisling that the terrain is very rough and dangerous for travel. But Aisling is determined. She proclaims this journey is about personally welcoming her new teacher, no matter the difficulty. She insists that a student should go in person to greet their teacher. Her resolve is unwavering. Later, Aislinn is at a makeshift campsite, looking distraught. She's been struggling with magic, her face showing pure frustration. She sighs heavily, defeated. She tells Bella, her maid, that they should just head back tomorrow morning, giving up. Bella, surprised by her quick resignation, observes that Aislinn certainly gives up very quickly on her goals. Aislinn looks at her maid, a hint of suspicion in her eyes. "You think I'm a fool, don't you, Bella?" she asks. Bella quickly denies it, flustered. She insists she would never think such a thing and asks what Aislinn is saying. Aislinn reflects on her past, how she used to achieve anything once her stubbornness truly kicked in. But this time, she admits, she doesn't even want to be stubborn. She feels completely drained of all energy. Bella, sitting by the campfire, explains her thoughts on the mercenary mage. He is not someone moved by wealth. He operates on a much more important value, Bella explains, something beyond status, background, or mere money. Aislinn remembers Derek's earlier words about not wanting to teach her magic half-heartedly, or being of much help. She thinks back to his sincere refusal. Why is everyone so incredibly earnest and committed to their own values? Meanwhile, Derek is deep in a cave, surrounded by glowing magical energy, intensely focused on his training. He is meditating, his body radiating power as the magical currents swirl around him, practicing his craft. A small stone near him cracks and shatters, indicating the raw force of his ongoing magical practice. Suddenly, a figure approaches. Aislinn stands above him, her shadow falling over him, interrupting his quiet concentration. Derek opens his eyes, startled. Aislinn apologizes for interrupting his training, her expression gentle and understanding. She then asks if she can sit next to him, seeking a moment of shared quiet, a hint of vulnerability. He looks at her, a moment of silence passing between them. He notices something different about her today. He asks if it's because she's speaking casually with him, sensing a shift in her usual demeanor. But Aislinn shakes her head. She corrects him, saying it's his eyes that look different to her now. She then looks away, a deep sigh escaping her lips. It seems she has something important to say. She apologizes to him for being a nuisance all this time, a surprising confession from the noble lady. She announces that she's going to stop trying to pursue magic now. Her pursuit of it ends here. She wishes him well, hoping he finds a good teacher, and thanks him for everything he has done. She then confesses her true feelings. "Teacher, I hate magic." Her voice is filled with genuine resentment. Derek looks at her, his red eyes fixed on her, listening intently to her unexpected declaration of dislike. She continues, explaining that for her, it was all politics and acting, a means to an end, not a passion. She admits she only tried to keep him on her side because he became famous, not for his teaching. But she finds him way too proud, she says, and since he'll go to Aislinn anyway, she should just step out. Derek finally speaks, asking her directly, "Why do you hate magic?" He wants to understand her true feelings. She pauses, contemplating her answer. She begins, "Well, I used to like it a bit in the past." But she quickly corrects herself, realizing that's not quite right either. Her true feelings are more complex. She admits she just liked being praised for her magical abilities. That was the true motivation all along. Magic was merely a means to an end. What she truly desired was the praise and admiration it brought her. She studied hard while everyone called her a genius, soaking in the compliments, driven by external validation. Then one day, a thought suddenly struck her. Why am I doing this? What am I even doing? So she stopped. She realized one is bound to get tired of praise eventually, and her motivation vanished. She looks at him, surprised. "You actually listening to my story?" she asks, a hint of vulnerability in her voice. She thought she'd just be talking to herself before leaving, surprised by his genuine attention to her words. She bids him safe travels, ready to depart. But then, a flicker of emotion crosses her face as she looks at him. "I'm jealous," she confesses, her voice soft. She looks down, a profound sadness in her expression. She envies someone like him, who doesn't question the notion of hard work, who finds true purpose in it. She looks at him one last time, a gentle smile on her face. "You'll become a great mage, won't you?" Derek simply stares back, his expression unreadable, offering no reply, just a silent, intense gaze. Aislinn leaves the cave, telling him that if they ever meet again, he should at least say hello to her. She rides away from the rough terrain with her soldiers, leaving Derek behind to his solitary training. Back at Velta's Grand Duchy, Aislinn's father asks if she was rejected by the young mage. Her attendant clarifies that Derek's training isn't over yet, but Aislinn still feels it's a kind of rejection. Her father tells her to stop worrying about the matter now. dismissing her concerns about the unpredictable young man. Iseline jokes about Derek living in a cave and becoming a bear, referencing an old legend. Denise stirs, slowly opening her eyes. A new day begins for the noble lady, but something feels off. Her vision clears, revealing the grand chamber. She sits up, a soft smile gracing her lips. "Good morning, father," she murmurs, her voice gentle in the quiet room. But as her gaze sharpens, a bright unnatural blue emanates from her eyes. The serene expression quickly shifts to one of bewildered surprise. "Huh?" she whispers, her mind racing. This unexpected power, this sudden glow, is completely new to her. The scene shifts, revealing a lavish dining room. She's at a table with her father and a young man, a tense silence hanging between them. The story flashes back, taking us to last night. The true source of this strange power is about to be revealed. Deep within a dark, rocky cave, a young man with white hair, Derek, meditates. A vibrant blue aura swirls around him. He's deep in concentration, his brow furrowed, as he attempts to control the volatile energy that pulses through his body. It's aligning, he thinks, pushing his limits. The flow of mana? He needs to harness this raw power, just a bit more. His entire being is focused on this critical moment, sweat beading on his forehead. The mana surges, intensifying around him. "The mana!" he gasps, struggling to maintain control. He pushes harder, demanding it to coalesce into a single point. His resolve is unwavering, his eyes now glowing crimson. The energy explodes outwards in a blinding blue shockwave, tearing at the cave walls. He unleashes the concentrated force. The raw power is too much. Derek collapses to his knees, gasping for breath, completely spent from the intense exertion. His body trembles, exhaustion washing over him. He's pushed past his breaking point, barely able to stay conscious. An older man, his master, steps out of the shadows. He looks at the struggling Derek with a stern, knowing gaze. "At this rate, you might collapse," the master warns, his voice calm amidst the echoes of the magic. He observes his student closely. It would be a waste to die after finally learning it. The master implies the immense cost of this new ability. "It's time for you to leave this place." The master's words are firm, signaling the end of Derek's training here. Derek absorbs the lesson, the power settling within him. He has acquired 3-star tectonic shift, a formidable new ability. The master then states, "There's nothing more I can teach you for now. Derek's journey must now continue alone." They sit by a crackling campfire, fish roasting over the flames. A quiet moment before Derek's departure. "As I said before," the master begins, his voice carrying weight. "You won't survive with mediocre talent." A harsh truth for his student. He urges Derek, "Think about it yourself. How far you intend to climb." The master challenges him to define his own ambition. "It's well done, help yourself." He offers Derek the cooked fish, a gesture of care despite his stern words. The master rises, preparing to leave. "I'm going to get some fresh air for a while." He exits the camp, leaving Derek alone. The master pauses, turning his head slightly. He calls out, "Derek." A final instruction hangs in the air. Derek looks up, startled by the sudden address. He knows his master's words always carry significant meaning. The master continues, his voice grave. "Beware of Kohila." A mysterious warning for the path ahead. With that, the master walks deeper into the forest, leaving Derek to ponder the cryptic name. He's truly alone now. Derek watches his master disappear into the darkness. He's leaving, he thinks, the reality of his journey setting in. He sits by the dwindling fire, the cooked fish forgotten. His mind is fixated on the ominous name. Kohela. The flashback ends. We return to the present at the Grand Duchy of Veltus, Veltus Mansion. The morning light streams in. Denise's father, the Grand Duke, beams with pride. "Denise, I am truly pleased." He praises her recent actions. "Thanks to you taking the lead." A precious magic instructor walked in on his own feet. He credits her for Derek's presence. Denise smiles demurely, accepting the compliment. "Thank you, father." She plays the part of the dutiful daughter perfectly. "I only did what I had to do," she replies, downplaying her efforts. Her true intentions remain hidden behind her gentle facade. The Grand Duke then asks, "By the way, you must have a reason for rejecting Duplain's request." He seeks understanding from her. "Tell me. I'll assist as much as I can." Her father is eager to support her, believing in her every decision. Derek interjects, his expression neutral. "I don't need anything other than the reward I mentioned." He cuts straight to business. "I only accepted because of Lady Denise's attitude." He reveals his true reason for being there, surprising no one. Her father beams again. Yes, yes, Denise's attitude is indeed wonderful. He agrees wholeheartedly, praising her further. What other lady on the continent could compare to our Denise? He sees his daughter as peerless, showering her with adoration. Anyone in the world who sees our Denise wouldn't be able to resist teaching her. He believes her charm is irresistible. The Grand Duke delves into a nostalgic story. Denise, do you remember that time when the maid broke the plate? Denise quickly interrupts, her smile faltering slightly. Father? She wants to steer the conversation away from his lengthy anecdotes. He continues, oblivious. The maid said that she had committed a grave sin and asked for forgiveness, right? He's lost in the memory. Then you, Denise, gave an angelic smile and said, he's about to reveal her past kindness, much to her discomfort. Denise cuts him off again, asserting control. I think we need to talk about the lessons now. She wants privacy for this discussion. Just between me and the instructor. She makes her intentions clear, seeking to exclude her father from the details. Derek, surprisingly, is still present. She glares. What are you doing here? Her tone is sharp, demanding an explanation. He sips his tea calmly. I am drinking tea. His nonchalant reply only fuels her irritation. Are you joking? She snaps, disbelief lacing her voice. She thought their agreement was clear. No, he replies, unwavering. Didn't you say you wouldn't do it? He reminds her of her previous stance. Pardon? She feigns confusion. Didn't we have a clean break? She tries to dismiss their prior encounter. She insists. I was grateful for what happened in the Laspa Great Cave. I received great help thanks to you. He counters. I already told you. That was just a political approach. He refuses to let her manipulate him. I said I have no intention of learning magic. Derek reiterates his firm refusal, leaving no room for doubt. To be honest, I didn't feel good about it. He explains his discomfort with her approach to magic. Because of that attitude of jumping to conclusions about whether it's good or bad. He criticizes her superficial judgment. Denise is left speechless, her expression hardening. She stares at him, her polite facade cracking under his bluntness. Ah, right. It must have been unpleasant for someone like you. She attempts to dismiss his feelings with a condescending tone. But Derek doesn't back down. But what I dislike, I dislike. He stands his ground, refusing to be swayed. It's a pity, he states, his voice laced with disappointment. He sees her as missing out on something profound. Without knowing a single good thing about that beautiful and brilliant magic, he laments her closed-mindedness. To think you hold such disillusionment and antipathy. Derek's eyes glow red, his patience wearing thin. I would not tolerate this. His voice is low and dangerous. Denise realizes she has gravely misjudged him. She gasps, fear flashing in her eyes. This is absurd. The situation has escalated beyond her control. I shouldn't have provoked him, Denise thinks, the weight of her error settling upon her. What happens next is her own making.